Chapter 26. You Shall Be the One. Translator. Atlas Studios Editor. Atlas Studios. Lin Yuan and Chu Ci left the Redbud Intermediate Spirit Chi Academy, and they spoke about his situation in detail while walking. My body is fine now, and the store is also doing well. I am preparing to participate in the Creation Master exam soon. Lin Yuan summarized the situation and his plans. He didn't wish to hide his participation in the Creation Master exam from Chu Ci. Creation Masters were akin to celebrities of the pre-Spirit Chi awakening era. They would be introduced on the star web, so it was impossible to conceal it. He might as well tell Chu Ci and let her have peace of mind. Chu Ci looked at Lin Yuan and felt that he had changed significantly. Of course, the changes had to do with his physical appearance, as Lin Yuan's heart was still the same. Lin Yuan might have said that things were relatively good recently, but Chu Ci knew that he would always mention the good news and not the bad news. Therefore, she was still a little worried. Lin Yuan, that sharp iron horn bowl must be very expensive, right? Lin Yuan laughed mischievously and took out his star web card while speaking. I now have the talent of a creation master and have earned some money. We have money now. Later on, I will transfer 100,000 Federation dollars to your star web card. If you need any resources in school, just buy them. The sharp iron horn bull needs a large number of energy ores. We will purchase those strong and tough metals too. When Lin Yuan was speaking, he was genuinely happy. It wasn't because they were rich now. He could finally provide a great cultivating environment for Chu Ci. The feeling was truly carefree. Chu Ci nodded obediently and didn't object. From the tender age of 6, when Lin Yuan was 8 years old, he had been supporting her and their store. They were each other's closest family members in this world. Chu Ci always had a certain reliance on Lin Yuan, and it was a feeling that originated from their bloodline and kinship. At that moment, a stall owner in the street called out loudly, "Chinese cornbread, 4 for 1 Federation dollar. Come here, come now." When Chu Ci heard the stall owner's sales pitch, she laughed and said to her brother, "Lin Yuan, I want to eat Chinese cornbread." Lin Yuan looked at the stall and said, "Haven't you always wanted to eat hot pot? If you eat Chinese cornbread now, your stomach won't digest fast enough for you to finish your hot pot." Chu Ci took a look at the cornbread and let out a sweet smile. "I want both cornbread and hot pot." Lin Yuan went to purchase cornbread helplessly. Chu Ci looked at his back and felt as though time had suddenly returned to several years ago. Back then, she had been severely ill, and her condition had been getting worse. Lin Yuan had gone to look for a healer to treat her, but the treatment had cost too much. As a result, the two of them had to eat cornbread for half a month. Back then, whenever they ate cornbread, they would feel it was coarse, hard to swallow, and very plain. Now that everything was better, Chu Ci couldn't help but think of their past when seeing the cornbread. "What are you thinking? Here is your cornbread, but don't eat too much. Otherwise, when we are eating hot pot, you can only watch me eat." "Big brother, I know already." Chu Ci chewed on the cornbread. Although its taste was still the same as she remembered, Chu Ci could feel a hint of sweetness. It was unknown if they had added some sugar in the cornbread, or if the cornbread actually had a unique taste in her heart. After eating the hot pot, Lin Yuan sent Chu Ci back to the academy. There was always reluctance when parting, but their lives would continue getting better. Lin Yuan didn't ride on an Aviant Fei to return home. Instead, he had chosen to ride a thick-hoofed donkey car. Lin Yuan wasn't trying to save money, but he wished to see the mountain from the ground this time. At the same time, he was going to make a plan for his future. Lin Yuan no longer planned to open the Fei store at home. It wasn't because he didn't wish to operate it, but he was planning to open a store on the star web. If he wanted to sell Feys, he could just sell them on the star web. He would arrange for Genius to memorize the primary books related to the Scholar, Fey Observer, and Spiritual Ingredient Analyst occupations after his return. He would then directly participate in the Creation Master exam. Once he passed the Creation Master exam, he could authenticate himself on the star web and receive jobs for custom-made Feys. Spirit Chi professionals would ultimately have to strengthen themselves in order to progress. Lin Yuan was also considered a Spirit Chi professional now. Therefore, after becoming a Creation Master, Apart from increasing his spirit chi by evolving feys, he would only accept jobs like custom-made orders. Under normal circumstances, he would need to continue increasing his feys grade. Now that he had a willpower rune, he wondered if he could increase a bronze feys quality to legend and nurture a bronze fantasy breed. When a fey transformed into a fantasy breed at a lower grade, it meant that the fey had greater potential. It was daybreak, and soon the morning sun's redness soaked the entire mountain range. At the same time, the thick-hoofed donkey car delivered Lin Yuan back to the Xia region. Lin Yuan had a breezy journey. He didn't walk back home immediately and instead headed to the fey marketplace to purchase 150 pots of usnias that weren't even normal grade. He then asked the stall owner to deliver them to his store. After making this bulk purchase of usnias, Lin Yuan didn't plan to purchase any more feys from the marketplace. He was planning to purchase feys from the Star Web. Although the prices of feys were slightly higher on the Star Web due to the transportation fees, it had the advantage of being safe. Before Lin Yuan became a creation master, he didn't wish to expose his fey evolving ability. After evolving all these 150 pots of normal usnias to elite, Lin Yuan reckoned that his spirit chi would reach a D-rank spirit chi professional standard. By then, he would be a true spirit chi professional that had a rank. Lin Yuan was already at the entrance of his store, but he suddenly had a thought. Morbius Spirit Lock exclusive skill is due to my compatibility with healing type, support type, and plant type. Therefore, I can only use the Spirit Lock on those types of feys. I had already decided to form a contract with a healing type fey a long time ago. The Spirit Lock exclusive skill only allows the use of the fey's basic ability. It's also the ability that will be obtained by the fey at normal grade. There was an awkward matter about healing type fey's normal grade ability. Most of them didn't possess healing abilities, just like the clear pond carp that Lin Yuan had encountered previously. It might be a healing type fey, but its basic ability was to use the fins to deal physical damage. Thus, such feys were unsuitable for Spirit Lock. As for the basic abilities that could heal, the most clear-cut ability would be Jasmine Lily's heal. Lin Yuan immediately decided that the first fey to use Morbius Spirit Lock on was simply going to be Jasmine Lily. Therefore, Lin Yuan returned to the fey marketplace and purposely picked a normal normal Jasmine Lily. He was preparing to use Spirit Lock on this pot of Jasmine Lily after going home. When Lin Yuan returned home, Genius and Chimey immediately pounced at him. Lin Yuan seldom went outdoors in the past because of his body condition. Hence, it was rare for him to leave Genius and Chimey. Lin Yuan had been out for an entire night, so Genius and Chimey were especially clingy toward him now. Their reliance and caring feelings made Lin Yuan feel warm. Chapter 27 Morbius Evolution. Translator. Atlas Studios Editor. Atlas Studios. Soon, the stall owner from before carried a cart of usnias into Lin Yuan's store. Lin Yuan's store was nearly filled with the 150 pots of usnias. As such, Lin Yuan immediately evolved one pot of usnia into normal grade and subsequently into elite grade. He put it high on the rack and said to Chimey, "Chimey, in the future, that pot of elite usnia will be your food. When you reach the grade of elite, I will prepare a bronze usnia for you." Chimey flew happily to its usnia and started singing a song. A delicacy like the elite usnia was something that Chimey had a chance to eat during the past 2 days. Of course, Chimey was the most delighted because this pot of elite usnia was something that Lin Yuan had specially prepared for it. Lin Yuan took another bowl and placed some energy biscuits inside. These energy biscuits were meant for omnivorous feys, and they contained low-grade spiritual ingredients that were rich with nutrients. In other words, they weren't cheap. Naturally, Lin Yuan couldn't afford them in the past, but things were different now. As such, Lin Yuan changed Genius' diet too. Genius lowered its head and smelled the energy biscuits in the bowl. Its eyes lit up, and it started to chew on the energy biscuits with its small teeth in a very carefree manner. After preparing the food for Genius and Chimey, Lin Yuan went upstairs to shower. Subsequently, he was preparing to use Spirit Lock on the Jasmine Lily. Afterward, he would also be considered a combat class Spirit Chi professional and a rare healer. Healers were very respected among the combat class Spirit Chi occupations, and it wasn't because they were rare. Healers might be considered a combat class occupation, but they were mainly important for their healing abilities and didn't have outstanding combat capabilities. As a combat class professional, healers would also need to form teams with other combat class professionals. They would need to fight in star web tournaments or receive guild missions. All those places required them to be in danger. Healers weren't able to protect themselves, so they had to rely on their teammates. The teammates would ensure the safety of healing-type spirit chi professionals, while the latter would nurture the entire team back to health. This was the main reason why healers were respected. Of course, Lin Yuan didn't need to worry. His compatibility direction wasn't just to the healing type but also toward the support type. The definition of a support type was rather vague. When support-type spirit chi professionals contracted some specific support-type phase, they would provide control-type abilities or weaken-type abilities. These abilities' damage value was already negligible, but everything had its advantages and disadvantages. Support-type spirit chi professionals that specialized in amplifications were more popular among the combat class spirit chi professionals. As Morbius grade increased, Lin Yuan would be able to use spirit lock on more phase. Therefore, Lin Yuan would be able to choose the combination of healing and support abilities. They might be basic abilities, but as the phase evolved, their basic abilities would also be continuously enhanced, strengthening their effects. When the spirit-locked phase reached bronze grade and obtained their exclusive skill, it would also enhance the basic abilities. In addition, Lin Yuan didn't think that basic abilities would be inferior. Since he had the ability to evolve phase before they reached bronze grade, they would surely reach epic quality. He was only able to use the spirit-locked phase basic abilities, so he didn't need to consider too much about the characteristics. He simply needed to choose based on the advantages of the basic abilities. Lin Yuan would only need to choose the future spirit-locked phase based on their types to have a better ability combination. This was something that the other healing type and support type spirit chi professionals couldn't compare with him. Lin Yuan believed that he would definitely become an outstanding healing type and support type spirit chi professional. Lin Yuan looked at the frail normal jasmine lily in his hand. He gently rubbed the jasmine lily's leaf while thinking that this was going to be his first spirit-locked fey. This is just the beginning. Lin Yuan used his spiritual energy to communicate with Morbius that was on his right wrist and activated the exclusive skill, Spirit Lock. Lin Yuan felt his spiritual energy connecting deeply with Morbius, while the latter released spiritual energy toward Lin Yuan's choice and formed the contract with the Jasmine Lily. Soon, Spirit Lock was completed. Lin Yuan felt that Morbius' released spiritual energy was the spiritual energy he had used to form Morbius' contract. As for the spiritual energy that he possessed right now, there wasn't any consumption. This meant that when Morbius used Spirit Lock, Lin Yuan would only need to use the spiritual energy to communicate with Morbius and wouldn't need to use his own spiritual energy. Lin Yuan always thought that he would need to reserve some spiritual energy to form the contract before using Spirit Lock. With that step skipped, Lin Yuan felt ecstatic. This means that I can still form a contract with another Fey that only requires a small amount of spiritual energy. It doesn't matter if the Fey isn't even normal grade. After all, I can nurture it like how I nurture Genius and Chimey. Lin Yuan's mind raced with thoughts again. I am compatible with healing type, support type, and plant type Feys. Jasmine Lily is a healing type and support type Fey, so I can now nurture another plant type and combat type Fey. That way, I will be able to protect myself even if I am in the wilderness. However, all the choices had to go through careful consideration. After Morbius used Spirit Lock successfully, Morbius' attributes changed. Lin Yuan immediately channeled Spirit Chi into the Spirit Lock Jasmine Lily. After over an hour, the normal Jasmine Lily had reached elite. Presently, the Jasmine Lily's leaves were plump and tender green. The distinct layers of green made a person's mood better just by looking at them. At that moment, Lin Yuan checked on Morbius' attributes. Fey name, Morbius. Fey species, Fey grade, elite, 1 out of 10. Fey type, spatial/mystery. Fey quality, elite. Abilities, true data. All complicated information that is invisible to the eye is turned into data. Information that is turned into data might contain truth that cannot be distinguished on the surface. Calm mind. Passive ability. Effects of calm mind can be improved according to the phase grade. Calm mind can stabilize the mind and has a certain probability of resisting negative conditions. Exclusive skill. Spirit lock. Morbius spatial zone can be used to nurture phase. The initial grade of the Fey that Morbius spatial zone can nurture must not be higher than Morbius grade. Morbius isn't able to increase its grade by itself, so its grade will be increased along with the phase grade that it nurtures. At the same time, Morbius can obtain the initial ability of the Fey that it nurtures. However, Morbius will not obtain abilities when its grade increases. Whenever Morbius increases a grade, it will be able to nurture one more Fey. Morbius' method of growth will remain unchanged. Normal Spirit Lock. Jasmine Lily. Elite, 1 out of 10. Quality, Elite. Ability, Heal, Recover Open Wounds. When the Jasmine Lily evolved in grade, Morbius had also reached Elite I/Elite. In addition, the Elite Morbius Spirit Lock spatial zone transformed. Lin Yuan held the Jasmine Lily, entered the Spirit Lock spatial zone, and noticed that the spatial zone, which was originally 40 square meters, had expanded. It was twice the size, at least 80 square meters now. Chapter 28. Trade completed. Translator. Atlas Studios Editor. Atlas Studios. At that moment, Lin Yuan suddenly heard an unfamiliar and cold, but very amiable voice. Yuan, I am finally able to communicate with you after I became elite. The voice echoed in Lin Yuan's mind, and he quickly reacted. This voice came from his first contracted Fey, Morbius. Lin Yuan was overjoyed now that Morbius could converse with him. Feys were always the spirit chi professional's closest partners. The previous time Lin Yuan could sense Morbius, the latter was so weak that it could only transmit fuzzy thoughts. Lin Yuan had been thinking of a method to strengthen Morbius' consciousness. He never expected that this problem would suddenly be resolved with Morbius' grade advancement. Moby, you were still so weak last time. Have you completely recovered now? A cold voice replied, I can only maintain this state for half an hour a day. Now that I have recovered, I wish to tell you about the function of the Spirit Lock spatial zone. When Lin Yuan heard that Morbius could only maintain this state for half an hour a day, he was even more determined to quickly evolve the Elite Jasmine Lily to bronze. By then, Morbius' condition would certainly improve. Humans could feel their phase thoughts, and it was the same for the phase. Morbius' originally cold voice carried tinges of warmth now. Yuan, this Spirit Lock spatial zone is like a small-scale dimensional zone. You can modify this spatial zone as you wish and store phase. It is just like a secret base. Lin Yuan continued the conversation with Morbius. After Morbius explained the Spirit Lock spatial zone's function, they started to have a casual conversation. Morbius had transmigrated to this world along with Lin Yuan. When Lin Yuan had been born, Morbius already existed. They were just like twin brothers. Lin Yuan and Morbius started to talk about anything they could, and just as they were enjoying the conversation, the time limit ran up. Morbius fell into a state where it could only transmit simple thoughts. When I evolve over 150 pots of these usnias into elite grade, I will become a D-rank spirit chi professional and be able to channel spirit chi faster. By then, I will have the capability to evolve elite phase into bronze ones. Lin Yuan didn't exit from the Spirit Lock spatial zone, and instead, he placed the Jasmine Lily by the poolside in the spatial zone. Immediately after, he dug out a piece of inferior energy ore from the Jasmine Lily's pot and threw it into the pool. Lin Yuan realized that the inferior energy ore quickly vanished into the pool, and its spirit chi fused into the pool. The limpid pool gradually emitted the spirit chi into the Spirit Lock spatial zone. Originally, the Spirit Lock spatial zone didn't have any spirit chi and wasn't suitable to store Fey within. However, if Lin Yuan was able to obtain a huge batch of energy ores and toss them into the pool, it would only be a matter of time before the spirit chi within the spatial zone would be many times more concentrated as compared to the outside world. Just by putting the phase into the Spirit Lock spatial zone, the phase would be able to evolve much faster than the outside world. With concentrated spirit chi, I wonder how fast my spirit chi channeling speed would be as compared to the outside world. Naturally, everything would need to be supported with a massive amount of Federation dollars because even the lowest grade of energy ores weren't cheap. Lin Yuan previously felt that he had already earned quite a lot of Federation dollars, but it seemed like he would need much more from the looks of it now. On the path of making money, Lin Yuan still had a long road ahead. After exiting the Spirit Lock spatial zone, Lin Yuan started to evolve the Usnias. For the next few days, apart from eating, sleeping, and conversing with Morbius for half an hour a day, Lin Yuan would be evolving the 150 pots of Usnias. On the 7th day, which was the day agreed upon with Yang Mingkai, Lin Yuan was barely able to evolve 100 pots of Usnias to elite grade. At that moment, Lin Yuan felt that the spirit chi storage in his body was going to reach the next rank. After reaching the next rank, Lin Yuan's spirit chi would be able to achieve a breakthrough. It would transform his thin and gaseous spirit chi into concentrated and misty spirit chi. By then, he would become a D-rank spirit chi professional. During the 7 days, Yang Mingkai had been handling the matters to set up the Fey breeding base. Yang Mingkai had to rent the building for his Fey breeding base. After all, he didn't have enough money to build a Fey breeding base. When renting a Fey breeding base, all of the facilities would be available for use. Presently, Yang Mingkai was just waiting for Lin Yuan to deliver the 70-plus pots of elite Usnias. After obtaining the elite Usnias, Yang Mingkai could start to split and breed them. Yang Mingkai might have kept Lin Yuan's phone number, but he didn't dare to call and pester him. This was a huge order, so a creation master must certainly be behind the scenes. He had already reached an agreement with Lin Yuan, so if he called him halfway, it would show that he didn't trust Lin Yuan. If the task wasn't completed yet, it would also give Lin Yuan pressure. Therefore, on the 7th day, Yang Mingkai hesitantly visited Lin Yuan's small store and knocked on the door. Lin Yuan opened the door and instantly dazzled Yang Mingkai with the rows of elite Usnias. All of the elite Usnias were emitting an aura of Federation dollars, and it made Yang Mingkai gulp down his saliva. Big brother Yang, the elite Usnias are all here. Back then, you said you wanted 76 pots of Usnias. You can just pick 76 pots from the 100 pots here. When Yang Mingkai entered, he felt that the pots of Usnias were much more than what he had requested. Upon hearing that there were 100 pots, he couldn't hold back and laughed. Young brother, have you found any buyers for your remaining 24 pots? Yang Mingkai immediately felt that he had said something wrong. How could there be no buyers for elite Usnias? However, Yang Mingkai was really eager to purchase all 100 pots of Usnias. By then, with over 120 pots of elite Usnias, he could simply nurture more Usnias during the early stages of his breeding base. There was always a lack of supply for Usnias, and he simply had to accumulate them slowly, allowing the snowball to roll bigger. Lin Yuan was planning to list the remaining elite Usnias on the Star Web and set up a Fey store after Yang Mingkai took the Usnias that he needed. Lin Yuan had already applied to open a Fey store, and it had been approved yesterday. However, there were no goods on Lin Yuan's Star Web store now. Since Yang Mingkai wanted all 100 pots of elite Usnias, it would save Lin Yuan the trouble of listing them on the Star Web. Big brother Yang, if you want them, I will sell them to you at the price we agreed upon previously. Yang Mingkai was overjoyed and truly appreciated Lin Yuan. Yang Mingkai already had a very good impression of Lin Yuan. If Lin Yuan showed some intention of becoming sworn brothers with him, he would immediately pull Lin Yuan and conduct the ceremony to become sworn brothers. Looking at Yang Mingkai's happy expression, Lin Yuan took another glance at the 100 pots of elite Usnias and felt that the creation master occupation was truly great. Chapter 29. Breaking through to become a D-rank spirit chi professional. Translator. Atlas Studios Editor. Atlas Studios. After carefully securing the 100 Usnia pots on his crowned fire salamander, Yang Mingkai left immediately. In this transaction, Lin Yuan obtained 3.3 radiance dollars, which was equivalent to 3,300,000 Federation dollars. The money that Lin Yuan had earned previously made him understand that his ability to evolve phase was a money-making method. The 3.3 radiance dollars made Lin Yuan realize that money was no longer an obstacle for him. What I need to do now isn't to think of how to earn more money. It is how to turn this wealth into my strength. It was fine to evolve low-grade phase, but a huge amount of resources would be required when evolving them to the higher grades. Take the Spirit Lock Spatial Zone, for example. If Lin Yuan wanted to modify it, he would need countless resources. Lin Yuan found it necessary to become a hoarder mouse that would accumulate resources frenziedly. He would then be able to experience the joy of a hoarder mouse. After another 2 days, when Lin Yuan had evolved 34 pots of usnias into elite grade, he suddenly felt the massive amount of gaseous spirit chi in his body being compressed. It was so intensively compressed that it turned into a streak of misty spirit chi. My streak of mist-like spirit chi is extremely concentrated right now. It feels like it will turn into liquid if it is concentrated any further. If the misty spirit chi can turn into liquid spirit chi, then I will be reaching the entrance of a C-rank spirit chi professional. Lin Yuan picked up another pot of elite usnia. Soon, he realized that after becoming a D-rank spirit chi professional, he didn't even need 10 minutes to evolve a normal usnia into an elite one. Cut down the time by at least 6 times. At that moment, Lin Yuan heard 2 gentle sounds from his body. He looked down and noticed the 2 sounds were actually coming from Genius and Chimey. During the past few days that he had been evolving the usnias, Genius and Chimey would always be leaning on him. The normal Genius and Chimey had actually broken through the limits and became elite. Lin Yuan checked on Chimey and Genius data and was rather surprised after reading their elite grade abilities. Fey name: 100 questions beast. Fey species: cat species / intelligent cat species. Fey grade: elite, 1 out of 10. Fey type: spiritual. Fey quality: elite. Abilities: precise memory. When memorizing something, every single detail can be memorized with precision. Knowledge analysis: can conduct a diverse initial analysis of the memory's knowledge. Knowledge analysis allowed Genius memorized knowledge to go through a systematic integration. Genius could then integrate and analyze it with the existing knowledge. This was an ability that really surprised Lin Yuan. Even a high-ranked scholar wouldn't be able to accurately memorize the information on 100 books, let alone conduct overall analysis of the details. This elite grade ability could allow Genius to become a sage, a walking knowledge database, and a data analysis master. Lin Yuan felt that Genius now truly lived up to the name that he had given to it back then. At that moment, the evolved Genius suddenly said, "Yuan, I can memorize even more things now." While speaking, Genius was jumping around on Lin Yuan's thighs, happily tilting its little head and asking to be praised. Lin Yuan rubbed the fur on Genius' head and asked, "Genius, how much can you memorize now?" Genius' size didn't change after reaching elite grade, but the silverish gray fur's surface was now thicker and had luster. Genius tilted its head and quickly replied, "Yuan, my memory was about 1 energy biscuit previously. Now, it is as many as 5 energy biscuits." After hearing Genius' comparison, Lin Yuan felt a little heartache and rubbed Genius' chin. Genius immediately started purring with enjoyment. The best food that this greedy little cat had eaten before was red braised meat. Thus, it would use red braised meat to make comparisons. Now that the energy biscuits had become the best food it had eaten, Genius changed the quantity comparison from red braised meat to energy biscuits. The increase in Genius memory had truly shocked Lin Yuan. In the beginning, Genius had the memory storage of 3 to 5 books. After reaching normal grade, it had gained a memory storage of 100 books. Now that it reached elite grade, its memory capacity had increased to 500 books. It wasn't even possible for an ordinary person to read 500 books, let alone memorize all 500 books. Previously, when Lin Yuan had asked Genius to study the books, he had needed to make a selection. Currently, he could simply ask Genius to memorize all the primary books on the Scholar, Fey Observer, and Spiritual Ingredient Analyst occupations. In fact, he could even ask Genius to learn other knowledge in advance. Lin Yuan had already been overjoyed with the 100 Questions Beast's evolution to normal grade. Now that it broke through and became an elite 100 Questions Beast, it brought Lin Yuan a pleasant surprise again. Lin Yuan had to admit that the evolved 100 Questions Beast was more like a perfect housekeeping beast. The dazzled Chimey, which had also evolved, woke up. Fey name: Soundbird. Fey species: Corvidi species / Kingfisher species. Fey grade, elite, 2 out of 10. Fey type, sound/chi. Fey quality, elite. Abilities, sound thrust. Fire a sharp spike that is formed by sound at a designated target. Turbulence. The flap of the wings emits a consistently fast and random flow of air current. Just as Chimey was preparing to fly toward Lin Yuan's ear, it extended in wings and noticed its feathers. Chimey immediately chirped with surprise. Perhaps due to its failure to evolve into a songstress bird, Chimey always had a special preference toward the color of blue, as all songstress birds had blue feathers. Presently, Chimey's feathers had already transformed from green to blue. However, Chimey's appearance was completely different from a songstress bird. Firstly, Chimey was still the size of half a palm, and its size didn't transform because of its progress in grade. Instead, it got even more delicate and refined. The blue feathers weren't a deep blue color like the songstress birds. It was more like the azure sky blue in the skies of a sunny day. It was an azure blue that would attract anyone's eyes in a single glance. The azure blue feathers on Chimey had faint patterns, and their color was slightly lighter. Lin Yuan wasn't able to see anything at first and merely felt that they were like cloud patterns. One had to look out for markings after a phase evolution. They wouldn't develop a unique trait for no reason and disappear by the next evolution. Therefore, the specialty and function of the cloud pattern would only be clearer after reaching bronze grade. Chapter 30. Dawn. Translator. Atlas Studios Editor. Atlas Studios. Chimey was now absurdly exquisite. Its appearance should be in the top ranks even among the elite avian phase. Chimey looked at its blue feathers and stared blankly for a long time before it jumped onto Lin Yuan's ear and started singing happily. Chimey's singing voice had also changed. Chimey's singing voice was at the concert hall's standard in the past. But now, its singing voice was just like the song of the legendary Thornbirds one. Every change of tune was like a praise toward life, the clear humming of a siren, an ode of the sun and moon in the universe. This was an ability to make use of the singing voice to the extremity. This was perhaps Chimey's unique talent as a sound bird, as it was the only elite sound bird in history. As compared to the singing, Lin Yuan paid more attention to Chimey's type. Chimey wasn't just purely sound type after reaching elite grade, as it had a dual type of sound and chi now. Lin Yuan had been rather worried that Chimey might continue down the sound type path, and it would only make the path narrower. Now that it had evolved into the sound and chi types, it would definitely expand the spaciousness of Chimey's future path. Lin Yuan walked to the entrance and took out the wooden board that was previously used to test Chimey's attack power. He said, "Chimey, use the ability Turbulence." When Chimey received Lin Yuan's command, it immediately flapped its wings, and a small surge of energy shot out of its small body. It produced a turbulent flow of air that expanded out of Chimey's body. Immediately after, Chimey controlled Turbulence and smashed it at the 1 centimeter thick wooden board. The wooden board let out a buzzing sound as though something sharp was scraping it. The turbulent flow of air was constantly shrinking the size of the wooden board. When it was finally shrunk by a third of the size, the wooden board's edges were already turned into wooden shavings because of turbulence. Chimey's elite grade attack power was far beyond its normal grade attack power. Lin Yuan looked at Chimey with approval and took out a metal board that was used for the racks. He walked into the courtyard and placed the metal board on the ground. "Chimey, use Turbulence again and attack this metal board." It was the same as before, but the metal board was only letting out clunking sounds after getting hit by Turbulence. There wasn't any damage. At that moment, Chimey let out a clear chirp, and a small hole was pierced open in the metal board. Turbulence then found its target and rushed toward that small hole frenziedly. The metal board was quickly ripped apart by Turbulence. By the time Turbulence ended, Lin Yuan looked at the destroyed metal board and gave Chimey a thumbs up. The combination of sound thrust and turbulence was surprisingly good. Sound thrust was just like a hidden weapon that could sneak an attack, while turbulence was mainly for consistent damage and control effects. When Chimey executed turbulence, it would first flow around Chimey's body, which also allowed to be used as a method of defense. Could help Chimey to block attacks that it couldn't dodge in time. After getting praised by Lin Yuan, It flew around the courtyard happily before landing on Genius' head and hopping around. It looked as though it was telling Genius how great it was. Genius and Chime's evolutions had given Lin Yuan more confidence. All of a sudden, Lin Yuan recalled something and said silently, "Not good!" For this entire time, he had totally forgotten about the two web-spraying spiders. The two web-spraying spiders should still be alive, right? Lin Yuan rushed back into the house, opened up the two elite-grade spirit storage boxes, and found them lying there motionlessly. Lin Yuan had the thought to heal a dead horse as though it was still a living horse one. He placed one hand on each of the web-spraying spiders and transferred the spirit chi. A few minutes later, the two web-spraying spiders moved their legs slightly. Lin Yuan was finally relieved to see that they weren't dead. However, if he was another moment late, they might have perished. Lin Yuan wasn't in a hurry to evolve the grade of the two web-spraying spiders. Instead, he cut off a few of the elite Usnia's vines and fed them to the web-spraying spiders. The web-spraying spiders were omnivorous. They might not enjoy eating Usnia vines, but the rich nutrients in them were definitely the best for replenishing the web-spraying spider's stamina. The two web-spraying spiders ate 5 Usnia vines before recovering their strength. When they recovered, Lin Yuan started to evolve them from Elite X/Flawless to Bronze/Normal. Lin Yuan was planning to evolve them to Bronze grade before putting them on the Star Web for sale. He wasn't planning to increase their quality to Epic. Even if they evolved with Epic quality, they would merely be able to choose a better exclusive skill after reaching Bronze grade. However, the time and cost invested wouldn't be proportionate. Normally, a creation master would only push an elite phase quality to Epic when it was a custom order. After reaching Epic quality, the customer would bring back the Fey and gamble on whether any of the 3 exclusive skills was what they wanted. Even if an elite phase quality was Epic when they reached Bronze grade, there might not be an incredible exclusive skill among the 3 exclusive skills. As compared to Feys reaching Bronze grade with flawless quality, the chances were merely 3 times better. 2 hours later, the two web-spraying spiders let out terrifying roars before evolving to Bronze grade. They took on an entirely different appearance as compared to before. One of the web-spraying spider's hind legs grew longer, and its abdomen grew bigger. The 2 hind legs that grew longer were also known as the weaving legs. This web-spraying spider's evolution direction was toward spirituality variant. Its size didn't become bigger, but the ability to spray and weave webs became better. The exclusive skill was Adhesive Spider Web. It enhanced the spider web's adhesiveness and gave a better control ability. The other web-spraying spider's size grew by 2 times, and its originally brownish-yellow color had some faint green colors. The evolution direction was obviously toward the ancestry line. This web-spraying spider awakened the exclusive skill, Violent Venom. It gave a strong venom to the body and also the spider webs. It was a rather good exclusive skill, and even though it didn't increase the control power, it increased the poison type's lethality. Lin Yuan nodded with satisfaction as these 2 web-spraying spiders should be able to sell for a good price on the Star Web. The exclusive skills of these 2 web-spraying spiders might not be top-notch, but they were above average. Lin Yuan managed to evolve 2 similar web-spraying spiders to Bronze grade. He finally understood why people would say that the diversification of attributes would increase after reaching Bronze grade. A different evolution direction and a different exclusive skill would create a significant difference between the same phase. Such diversifications during evolutions made Lin Yuan feel that the evolution of phase was a cool process. It felt like the creation and innovation of life. The evolutions of the 2 web-spraying spiders made Lin Yuan experience and understand the significance of life. The sunlight from outside the window came inside the small face store and shone on Lin Yuan's face. It plated Lin Yuan's body with a layer of warm light. The ray of light on Lin Yuan made the 2 newly evolved web-spraying spiders feel that it was the dawn. Chapter 31. Star Web Store. Translator. Atlas Studios Editor. Atlas Studios. The dawn might only be a faint ray of light at daybreak and the outline behind the mountain. However, in the eyes of the 2 web-spraying spiders, this faint light of dawn was the redemption of life. The hands that were placed on their backs were constantly channeling spirit chi and pulling them back from the doors of hell. However, The web-spraying spiders didn't know that the dawn in their eyes would soon sell them on the Star Web Store. In fact, when Creation Masters evolved feys and sold them, it was to search for a new contractor for the feys. Spirit Chi professionals and feys would always mutually benefit from each other. Spirit Chi professionals would think of all methods to nurture their feys. When the feys were stronger, they would be able to enhance the Spirit Chi professionals' combat capabilities. Lin Yuan had already used the Star Web card to log into the Star Web. Lin Yuan always liked to visit those fey websites to acquire more knowledge on how to nurture feys. For websites like Fey ones, they were still maintained in the same appearance before the Spirit Chi awakening. The Star Web was different as it was the same as a second world for humans. By using the Star Web card to enter the Star Web, it was just like entering a brand new world of network. Lin Yuan seldom visited the Star Web, so his Star Web account didn't have anything else apart from his name, age, and basic information of his identity. Lin Yuan didn't immediately fill up all the personal information, like his Spirit Chi rank, contracted feys, or interests and hobbies. Instead, he entered the Star Web Store that he had applied for and just gotten approved. In order to apply for the store, the application fee had cost Lin Yuan 100,000 Federation dollars, and he felt the pinch. The store didn't have a name yet, so Lin Yuan conveniently changed the store's name to Purchase with No Loss Fey Store. After changing the name, Lin Yuan immediately confirmed it with convenient procedures. Lin Yuan couldn't help but nod with satisfaction. Lin Yuan still remembered an advertisement in his previous life. Purchase with no loss, purchase with no fraud. To see the items that are truly worth the price, enter the house to take a look. Now that my store is called Purchase with No Loss Fey Store, the name immediately demonstrates the store's conscience and sincerity. Awesome! Genius was seated on Lin Yuan's thighs and looking at Lin Yuan while tilting its head. Genius didn't know why the radiant smile on Lin Yuan's face made him look like a silly kid. A newly approved Star Web Store was still a Class 1 Star Web Store. It might be a Class 1-1, but the size of the store wasn't small. Lin Yuan might feel the pinch after spending 100,000 Federation dollars, but he was feeling a little better now. Lin Yuan's actual Fey store was only around 80 square meters, including both the first and second floors. But this store on the Star Web was at least 200 square meters, and it was already 2 times as big. In the Star Web, a Class 1 store that was newly approved would be an empty house with a standard size of 200 square meters. Lin Yuan's current store was nothing but an empty shell apart from the 4 clear and white walls. In order to decorate the store, he would need to purchase the decorations in the Star Web. The Star Web was a world that was entirely made up of data, but these data really existed. Lin Yuan used the Star Web card to scan the elite usnias and the 2 web-spraying spiders into data before listing them onto the store to sell. The elite usnias and the 2 web-spraying spiders were turned into data, and their virtual images appeared in Lin Yuan's store. In terms of appearance, they were entirely the same when they were in the actual world. Lin Yuan couldn't help but lament at how amazing the Star Web was. At that moment, the Star Web notified and asked Lin Yuan if he wished to change his Star Web account's name. If he didn't change it, the default name of the store owner should be the actual name. Lin Yuan immediately cursed in his heart. Isn't the Star Web account name the same as a web name? Lin Yuan immediately changed his name into Deep Mountain Elder Lin. The name Deep Mountain Elder Lin was actually the meaning of his actual name, Lin Yuan 1. In the virtual world, it was better to change one's name when setting up a store. Lin Yuan's store had just opened, so he didn't think that anyone would be coming in soon. Therefore, he looked for a bookstore in the Star Web community. When walking into the Star Web community, Lin Yuan had his eyes opened. As he was in the Star Web, apart from some special decorations, most of them were real scanned items. Inside the community, one could see high-ranked Spirit Chi professionals riding all sorts of feys and inviting eyes of envy. It was very rare to see bronze feys and above in the Xia region, but in the Star Web community, Lin Yuan could already see several silver feys. He could even see the figures of gold feys occasionally. Spirit Chi professionals who possessed gold feys would normally be B-rank. B-rank Spirit Chi professionals were considered the core strength of the Radiance Federation. Lin Yuan walked into a bookstore and noticed there weren't any owners. The storekeeper was an AI robot. AI robots were sold on the star web. Those with lesser functions would be around 40,000 Federation dollars. Those with better functions would be around 80,000 Federation dollars. They had a warranty of 5 years. After some calculations, the robots with lesser functions would be around 8,000 Federation dollars per year and around 600 Federation dollars per month. Those with better functions would be around 16,000 Federation dollars per year and around 1,300 Federation dollars per month. It was considered to be very affordable. AI robots could only handle simple jobs. For bookstores where the items' prices were fixed, an AI robot could easily fill in the role. For feys stores, like spiritual ingredient stores that required communication with customers to conduct business, the AI robots wouldn't be sufficient. In that case, one could hire a storekeeper from the star web, but the price would be several times more expensive than AI robots. There were plenty of people who could take up part-time jobs in the star web or even full-time jobs. However, hiring a storekeeper had its pros and cons. There were certain aspects when a storekeeper wasn't as reliable as an AI robot. The robot assisted Lin Yuan, and he quickly purchased all the books he required. After the purchase, Lin Yuan had to sign a confidentiality contract and promise that the purchased books wouldn't be given to others apart from direct relatives. After the spirit chi awakening, all knowledge, even the low-ranked occupation knowledge, would need to be purchased. In addition, a confidentiality contract must be signed after the purchase. Lin Yuan involuntarily sighed. No matter the time and place, the saying of knowledge is wealth remains unchanged. There were a total of 327 books that were tested for primary scholars, fey observers, and spiritual ingredient analysts. Lin Yuan purchased all of them. After making the purchase, Lin Yuan just had to wait for Ostrich Logistics to deliver the 327 books information chips. He could then allow Genius to memorize the contents of the books. By then, I can go participate in the Creation Master exam. Chapter 32. First Customer. Translator. Atlas Studios Editor. Atlas Studios. Earlier on, when Lin Yuan had entered the bookstore, he had felt that the renovations were rather classical and stylish. While thinking of his own store, Lin Yuan headed to the Star Web's furniture and decoration store. After visiting a few furniture and decoration stores, Lin Yuan made a firm decision not to buy any furniture. This furniture and decoration store sold items that were at least 10 times more expensive than the other stores. He took a look at a white wooden chair that had a price of 5,500 Federation dollars. Lin Yuan decided not to buy anything. He felt that his little store just had to sell things, while furniture and decorations weren't necessary. However, Lin Yuan still planned to purchase an AI robot for automatic selling. The selling price for elite usnias and similar feys were all fixed, and Lin Yuan wasn't planning to give any chance for negotiations. It was better to set a fixed selling price. As for other superior feys, when Lin Yuan wasn't in the store, those interested parties could just leave a message with the AI robot. When Lin Yuan came online, they could then converse. AI robots might not be great, but the store was only starting, and Lin Yuan could easily handle the business. Furthermore, hiring a reliable storekeeper wasn't an easy task, and it was dependent on fate. Lin Yuan returned to his store, and just as he was preparing to purchase an AI robot, he realized there was a customer in the store. There was a young girl wearing denim clothes but wearing a bumblebee hat. She was bending over and carefully observing the 2 web-spraying spiders in the store. She would look at one of them and switch over to the other from time to time. She was pursing her lips as though she wasn't satisfied. Since there was business, Lin Yuan quickly went over and asked, "I wonder if you fancy any of the 2 web-spraying spiders?" It was unknown when this girl had arrived, but it seemed like she had been waiting for some time. After hearing Lin Yuan's question, she said to Lin Yuan, "Are you the store owner? Your store actually doesn't even have an AI robot. I could only wait here foolishly, not knowing when you would return." Lin Yuan let out an apologetic smile and said, "My small store just opened today. I didn't have time to prepare an AI robot." The girl looked as though she understood and said, "No wonder. I have been looking for a store that is selling bronze spider feys recently, but I only found your store today. For a silly store name like Purchase with No Loss. If I saw it previously, It would be impossible for me not to enter. Lin Yuan's smile immediately froze and couldn't help twitching. While looking at this bumblebee hat-wearing girl, who was around his younger sister's age, why did he feel that this unruly child was asking for a beating? She must have done too little homework. The girl felt that she had said something wrong, so she stuck out her tongue and said, "Uncle, what is the price for these 2 spiders? Don't set a price that is too expensive. Your store's name is called Purchase with No Loss." Lin Yuan was normally addressed as young brother and little brother. This was actually the first time he was addressed as an uncle. However, thinking that this was the store's first customer and he must provide a smiling service, he endured and said, "The smaller web-spraying spider with long weaving legs awakened the exclusive skill, adhesive spider web. The bigger greenish web-spraying spider awakened the exclusive skill, violent venom." When Lin Yuan said violent venom, the young girl let out an ah and consciously moved back. Without anything to lean back on, the girl immediately sat her buttocks on the ground. It just so happened that her bumblebee hat dropped down. Lin Yuan subconsciously wanted to help and pull up the girl, but when he saw the top of the girl's head, he immediately slipped out the words, "Braised egg, ah!" As compared to her fall earlier, she shouted even louder. The girl immediately picked up the bumblebee hat and wore it on her head. After wearing it tightly, she said, "This is an injury by a ghost shadow-bristled spider and the aftereffects of the treatment. It will be fine after a few months, and it is not some braised egg." When looking at the girl's angry expression, Lin Yuan involuntarily rubbed the back of his head. He was rather apologetic, but he silently thought in his mind, "I really didn't mean it when I exclaimed, braised egg." But all the irritation after being told that the store's name is silly and being addressed as an uncle has been wiped out. After hearing the ghost shadow-bristled spiders mention, Lin Yuan felt that he had heard of someone being bitten by a ghost shadow-bristled spider one, but he couldn't remember. Since this girl had received treatment even after getting stung by a ghost shadow-bristled spider, it meant a healer with a gold healing type fey had treated her as soon as she had been stung. The girl turned around and ignored Lin Yuan as she continued to observe the 2 bronze web-spraying spiders. Lin Yuan saw the situation and immediately asked, "Do you like spider feys?" The girl responded by jumping up as though she was stung on her injured spot again. "I hate spider feys the most. Who would like a big and hairy bug?" While speaking, the girl's mouth sunk down as she added another statement. "But my innate compatibility range is pointing towards spider feys." Lin Yuan first felt that it was rather comical that a person who hated spider feys was actually compatible with them. Immediately after, Lin Yuan was shocked by this girl's innate talent. Spider feys were also considered arachnids, and it was a classification that was extremely diverse among insects. Most of the combat class feys would have the shadows of an arachnid. If this girl was compatible with spider species, it meant that she had plenty of choices when contracting a fey, and her direction of development was very extensive. After taking a closer look at the 2 web-spraying spiders, the girl shook her head and said to Lin Yuan, "This won't do. I want to contract with a spider fey that has a strong control ability. The exclusive skills of these 2 web-spraying spiders are still a little weak. It will be best if I can order elite/epic web-spraying spiders. I will surely roll out the exclusive skill, transparent spider web." After hearing the girl's words, Lin Yuan clicked his tongue silently. The transparent spider web was an extremely rare exclusive skill. It was a skill that wasn't good when used by itself, but it might produce an unexpected result when used in combination with other feys. However, in order to roll for a specific skill, it wasn't possible with just 1 or 2 epic quality web-spraying spiders. If one didn't have good luck, it might need up to around 10 or 20 spiders. Just as the girl was walking outside, Lin Yuan pondered for a moment before speaking. "Do you wish to make custom orders for epic quality web-spraying spiders? I have a method. How many do you need?" The girl immediately turned around and looked at Lin Yuan warily and said, "Uncle, do you think I am innocent, cute, and easy to deceive? Or do you think you look good, and I will believe you?" Chapter 33, Spirit Siphon Goldfish. Translator, Atlas Studios Editor, Atlas Studios. Same species feys, even if they were elite/epic ones, their price would be more than 2 times higher than a bronze fey. To Lin Yuan, evolving an elite phase quality to epic would require much more time than evolving an elite/flawless fey to bronze/normal. No regular creation master could achieve pushing an elite phase quality to epic. At least, it was impossible for rank 1 creation masters. Lin Yuan looked at the girl with the braised-egged head with an annoyed expression and shook his hand. Hurry up and leave. Go to the other shops and take a look. You might find a web-spraying spider that you want. Lin Yuan had already turned around and was preparing to purchase an AI robot, but he was held back by the girl. The girl blinked her big eyes, and when her bumblebee hat was swaying around, it did look like a little bumblebee. Uncle, why don't we add each other as star web friends? Lin Yuan looked at the girl with the braised-egged head and said, There isn't a need. If you wish to buy something from the store, you can just come back. Uncle, you aren't angry, right? Take a look at your store. It doesn't have a single piece of furniture and decoration. I have already been deceived so much that I am afraid. It is fine to occasionally be wary, right? Upon looking at the girl's crafty eyes, Lin Yuan cursed in his heart. You would get deceived? It will be good enough if you don't go and deceive others. However, this time, Lin Yuan directly handed his star web name card to the girl. The girl also directly handed her star web name card to Lin Yuan in return. When Lin Yuan was looking at the girl's name card, he heard a burst of laughter from the side. Ha ha ha! Deep Mountain Elder Lin. What a silly name. Lin Yuan read the name on the girl's star web name card. It was Stream in the Cloud. Isn't the shark eagle one a fish that lives inside the stream in the cloud? What? You actually say I am a fool? No, I said stream in the cloud. No, I just heard you saying that I am a fool. In the end, Lin Yuan signed a contract with the girl who had the star web name Stream in the Cloud. Stream in the Cloud would pay 2 radiance dollars for each elite/epic web-spraying spider. She then immediately put down an order for 5 of them. While signing the contract, Lin Yuan watched the girl swipe the star web card without hesitation, causing him to lament in his heart. Wealth truly gives a person confidence. When signing a contract on the star web to order phase, there wasn't any deposit, as it had to be paid in full. Therefore, Stream in the Cloud didn't hesitate and immediately paid the cost of 10 radiance dollars. Of course, if Lin Yuan wasn't able to prepare the phase stated on the contract, then he would need to pay the penalty fee. At the same time, the credibility of purchase with no-loss phase store would drop greatly. A store with low credibility would naturally have bad business. When the credibility fell to a certain extent, the store might have its rights taken away. After sending off Stream in the Cloud, Lin Yuan purchased an AI robot that had a better function. Once he set the elite/elite Usnia's price, Lin Yuan went out to visit other phase stores. He would need to purchase 5 elite web-spraying spiders. The best option was to purchase elite X/flawless web-spraying spiders. Lin Yuan would only have to evolve them to epic quality afterward. Elite X/flawless web-spraying spiders weren't considered rare. Therefore, Lin Yuan got them easily for around 200,000 Federation dollars each. It cost Lin Yuan a total of 1 radiance dollar for these 5 web-spraying spiders. The books, AI robot, and the 5 elite X/flawless web-spraying spiders immediately reduced half of the funds on his hand. He didn't even have time to warm up the 3.3 radiance dollars that he had just earned this morning and had already spent them. Presently, Lin Yuan was only left with 2.4 radiance dollars. He couldn't help but sigh. Money is something that will be used up so quickly. Since Lin Yuan had purchased the 5 elite/flawless web-spraying spiders, he searched for star web stores. This time, he was very serious and careful with his selection. Lin Yuan was looking for an elite fey to use Morbius Spirit Lock on. Only after evolving both the Spirit Lock normal and elite phase to bronze, Morbius would then be able to reach bronze grade 2. Lin Yuan already had a plan for the elite fey to use Spirit Lock on. However, the choice was truly a challenge for Lin Yuan. He had chosen a support-type fey that no one would basically choose, the Spirit Siphon Goldfish. No one picked the Spirit Siphon Goldfish, not because it didn't have a good ability. On the contrary, the Spirit Siphon Goldfish's basic ability was one of the most popular abilities among the support-type feys, Spirit Injection. Spirit injection allowed the spirit chi professionals to quickly replenish their used-up spirit chi in battle. The spirit siphon goldfish had such a favorable basic ability, but no one would pick it because it would only absorb pure spirit chi. It would reject most of the spirit chi produced by spiritual ingredients. Furthermore, the spirit siphon goldfish required a huge amount of spirit chi in order to evolve. It would need 10 times more spirit chi than other feys of the same grade. These factors made the spirit siphon goldfish a fey that creation masters didn't like. Due to the difficulty of evolving it, no one would pick the spirit siphon goldfish as their own contracted fey. Even though the spirit siphon goldfish wasn't a great choice, its price wasn't low at all. When a spirit siphon goldfish swam, it would release spirit chi into the environment. The higher the grade of the spirit siphon goldfish, the more spirit chi would be released. This made the spirit siphon goldfish become a superior fey that could support spirit chi professionals to absorb spirit chi. There were plenty of stores on the star web selling spirit siphon goldfish, but most of them would be selling normal spirit siphon goldfish. There were basically no stores selling elite spirit siphon goldfish. Lin Yuan finally chose a Class 3 store as it didn't just have spirit siphon goldfish, but it also sold spiritual ingredients. It just so happened that Lin Yuan could purchase all the things he needed in this store. After entering the Class 3 store, Lin Yuan realized its size wasn't just big. It was close to 800 square meters. After taking a glance, there were all sorts of spiritual ingredients and feys that were arranged neatly and orderly in the store. It made this 800 square meter store a little congested. At that moment, Lin Yuan heard a gentle female voice that echoed beside his ear. "Let me bring you to what you want to buy. My staff members have the day off today, so please forgive me for any mistakes." The woman let out a friendly smile while speaking, and subtly built a closer relationship. Lin Yuan went straight to the point and said, "Boss, I wish to buy a spirit siphon goldfish from here. This way, please." The middle-aged lady led the way at the front and swiftly brought Lin Yuan to a pond that was around 6 to 7 square meters in size. The pond had spirit siphon goldfish that were in all sorts of colors, and they were swimming around smoothly and quickly. Chapter 34. Thin Dragon Species Bloodline. Translator. Atlas Studios Editor. Atlas Studios. When Lin Yuan approached the pond, he felt that the spirit chi was much more concentrated. The middle-aged lady pointed at the spirit siphon goldfish inside the pond and said, "The smaller ones in the pond are all normal grade. That reddish goldfish, which is twice as big as the other spirit siphon goldfish, is elite grade." Lin Yuan asked curiously, "Boss, what are the prices for normal and elite spirit siphon goldfish, respectively?" The middle-aged lady chuckled and said, "You don't have to keep calling me boss. I should only be slightly older than you. Just call me Big Sister Xian. Normal spirit siphon goldfish, regardless of subspecies, cost 0.5 radiance dollar each. The elite spirit siphon goldfish costs 5 radiance dollars. Lin Yuan already knew that the elite spirit siphon goldfish would be expensive, but after hearing it cost 5 radiance dollars, he couldn't help but be surprised. Zhou Jiasen noticed Lin Yuan's surprised expression and explained, "I have already quoted a very reasonable price for the elite spirit siphon goldfish, and that is due to its poor subspecies. If it was a superior subspecies, the price would be at least 7 radiance dollars. The other places sell normal spirit siphon goldfish of different subspecies with different prices too. But at my place, I sell them for the same price. Most of the time, people would pick them based on their looks. Not many creation masters are willing to take the task of evolving these feys." Lin Yuan nodded in response. The spirit siphon goldfish was actually the commonly called goldfish before the spirit chi awakening. The telescope, Ranchu, Lionchu, Ryukin, butterfly telescope, and so on were all subspecies of the goldfish, and they were all called spirit siphon goldfish. The different subspecies of spirit siphon goldfish didn't have a great difference at normal grade and elite grade, but their evolution direction would be different after reaching bronze grade. For this time, Lin Yuan wanted to purchase a telescope spirit siphon goldfish. It was said that if the telescope subspecies evolved toward the ancestry line, it might activate the thin dragon species bloodline. That would be the same as jumping through the dragon gate. However, the possibility of it happening was minute. Previously, A high-ranked creation master had nurtured a telescope spirit siphon goldfish to bronze grade, and it had evolved toward the ancestry line, awakening the dragon species bloodline. The spirit siphon goldfish that had awakened the dragon species bloodline had immediately been placed in the Starweb's rare lifeform pavilion for an auction and sold for an astronomical price. Lin Yuan wanted to attempt and see if he could activate the dragon species bloodline within the telescope spirit siphon goldfish at bronze grade. In fact, even if he couldn't activate the bloodline, it wouldn't be bad either. The spirit siphon goldfish's basic ability was already incredible enough. Lin Yuan wanted to purchase a spirit siphon goldfish and experiment to see how long he would need to evolve it. He would then see if the spirit lock spatial zone, which had concentrated spirit chi, could allow the spirit siphon goldfish to evolve at a speed that was several times faster. If his spirit lock spatial zone was able to evolve the spirit siphon goldfish faster, then his store could focus on selling elite spirit siphon goldfish. Such a store would have a reputation that would spread swiftly. Of course, all of this would have to wait until Lin Yuan finished the order for the 5 web-spraying spiders. After all, Lin Yuan didn't have enough capital to purchase spirit siphon goldfish right now. Lin Yuan picked a black and healthy normal eye/normal telescope goldfish from the pond. He was planning to purchase some energy ores with the rest of the money to enhance and check the limits of the spirit chi concentration in his spirit lock spatial zone. Lin Yuan purchased the inferior energy ores from Zhou Jiasen at the price of 500 Federation dollars for each caddy. He purchased a total of 2,000 caddies, leaving him with just 0.9 radiance dollars. Lin Yuan didn't spare the 0.9 radiance dollars either and purchased some butterfly shells. The butterfly shell beast was a kind of deep-sea fey, and butterfly shells were made by polishing and grinding the butterfly shell beast's shell. There were all sorts of patterns and shapes. The butterfly shell beast had plenty of different colored shells, which didn't have a big difference in price. Lin Yuan chose the yellow ginkgo leaf-shaped butterfly shells. After delicate polishing and grinding, the butterfly shell was shining with pearl-like luster. These butterfly shells were mainly used as fodder for the spirit siphon goldfish. As spiritual ingredients, the butterfly shells had a slight effect of awakening a water-type phase bloodline. Also, when these golden yellow ginkgo leaf-shaped butterfly shells were placed at the bottom of the spirit lock spatial zone's pool, they gave off a serene, deep autumn scenery. It was spectacular. Lin Yuan spent his 0.9 radiance dollars and bought a bunch of butterfly shells. There were roughly over 100 butterfly shells, and they should be enough to feed the spirit siphon goldfish for 3 to 5 months. Lin Yuan hoped that the spirit lock spatial zone could enhance the spirit siphon goldfish's growth. It wasn't difficult for him to increase the grade of the spirit siphon goldfish because he could purify the spirit chi in the air before channeling it into the phase body. This method would allow a fey to absorb the spirit chi directly, so the spirit siphon goldfish wouldn't reject it. The time required to evolve a spirit siphon goldfish was actually 10 times longer than other feys. Evolving the spirit siphon goldfish was actually not good for him. When evolving feys, Lin Yuan also wanted to increase his strength. He didn't wish to nurture the spirit siphon goldfish and not be able to increase the speed of spirit chi absorption. Zhou Jiasen didn't expect her store to suddenly receive such a huge order. Therefore, she asked Lin Yuan, "You are purchasing so many inferior energy ores to nurture a huge number of low-grade feys, right?" Lin Yuan didn't nod or shake his head. He smiled and said, "Big Sister Xan, I require quite a bit of energy ores for my daily operations." Zhou Jiasen looked at Lin Yuan, feeling that he was emitting a plant's refreshing presence after rain, and made her feel indescribably closer. Zhou Jiasen immediately sent a request to add Lin Yuan's Star web account. "Let's add each other to the friend list. If you need anything else next time, you just have to tell me directly. If the store doesn't have the spiritual ingredient, I can help you to get them with the proper price." Lin Yuan gladly agreed. Most of the spiritual ingredient stores would sell mostly low-grade or mid-grade goods. Even if the store owner had high-grade spiritual ingredients, it wouldn't be displayed in the store. All spirit chi professionals would think of all methods to evolve feys, so some of the rarer spiritual ingredients would never have sufficient supply. After adding Zhou Jiasen's Star web account, it would save Lin Yuan plenty of trouble. If he needed anything, he would just make a direct order. This Class 3 store's spiritual ingredients might not be the cheapest, but their quality was all of a certain standard. I might have to purchase more energy ores and butterfly shells from Big Sister Xian next time. I might even purchase a few more spirit siphon goldfish. Will you still need the same inferior energy ores next time? Lin Yuan nodded. The higher the grade of the energy ores, the purer the spirit chi contained within. It would be easier to channel the spirit chi out of the energy ores for the feys to absorb. However, the spirit lock spatial zone spirit pool could dissolve the inferior energy ores into spirit chi. Since that was the case, inferior energy ores were naturally more worth it. Zhou Jusin noted it down but was rather surprised in her heart. Inferior energy ores could only be used to nurture normal and elite feys. How big must the fey breeding base be to need such a huge amount of low-grade energy ores? Chapter 35. Clash of Sequences. Translator. Atlas Studios Editor. Atlas Studios. If it was really a large-scale fey breeding base, then it would certainly require a significant amount of spiritual ingredients. If I can secure this customer, I will have an additional steady flow of orders. While thinking like that, Zhou Jusin spoke to Lin Yuan eagerly. As long as you tell me in advance, I will be able to prepare the goods in half an hour. Ostrich Logistics will deliver it to your place within a few hours. That's right. If you have any good feys, you can sell them to me too. Or you can also purchase some severely injured feys from me. Those feys are still alive, and I can guarantee the freshness of the spiritual ingredients. When Lin Yuan heard the words, severely injured, his eyes lit up. Doesn't this mean that I have a chance to pick up great hidden goods again? Lin Yuan didn't plan to sell feys to Zhou Jusin, as he was going to use the superior feys to increase his store's reputation. When Zhou Jusin saw Lin Yuan's shining eyes, she couldn't help smiling. Today is the 6th of September. On the 27th of September, there will be a batch of severely injured feys arriving in the store. By then, you can come over to take a look. Those feys have all been vetted by a Class 2 Creation Master, and the Class 2 Creation Master couldn't save them. It is basically impossible for them to recover. Zhou Jusin spoke very clearly and was trying to dismiss Lin Yuan's thought of finding some great feys that were missed out. Lin Yuan understood Zhou Jusin's intention too. A Class 2 Creation Master might not be able to heal the injured feys, but it doesn't mean that I cannot heal them. For Zhou Jusin's store, even if the fey was severely injured, it shouldn't be any higher than gold grade and would at least be a silver fey. To heal such feys, a Class 3 Creation Master would need to be hired, and the price was already higher than silver feys. Therefore, when Class 2 Creation Masters couldn't heal such feys, they were basically sentenced to death. The Class 2 Creation Master would use simple methods to maintain the feys' lives to guarantee the freshness of the spiritual ingredients. Instead of saying that Zhou Jusin was selling severely injured feys, it would be better to say she was selling extremely fresh spiritual ingredients. Lin Yuan was currently a D-rank spirit chi professional, and he wasn't confident in healing a severely injured silver fey immediately. However, he was certain that the channeling of spirit chi would constantly make the silver fey better. After a period of time, it would be possible to heal it. Then, I shall revisit the store on the 27th. Big Sister Xian, I have been here for quite some time now. Why don't I see any customers coming into the store? Lin Yuan's question didn't have any meaning to hint that Zhou Jusin's store had a lack of customers. It was a genuine question. For a Class 3 store that had great credibility, it should be constantly filled with customers. Thus, why was it so quiet today? Zhou Jusin pointed at the poster on the wall of her store and said, "There is a tournament at the Starry Tower's Brilliance Celestial Stairway. It just so happens that 2 sequence members are dueling. Everyone went to watch the duel. My staff members requested for half a day off to watch the duel too." Zhou Jusin saw Lin Yuan blinking his eyes and didn't think that there was someone who didn't know of such a huge event in the Star Web. Sequence member? The only known sequence in the Radiance Federation was the Radiance 100. The rankings of the Radiance 100 were in sequence from 1 to 100. The Radiance 100 sequence members were the young generation of the Federation, and most of them had an age gap that wasn't more than 10 years. Every year, 10 of the 100 sequence members would retire, and 10 new members would fill the ranks. There were two types of scenarios when the Radiance 100 were retired. The first type was if their rankings were from the 91st to the 100th. They would be automatically eliminated from the Radiance 100 sequence, and new members would replace them. The other type was when they remained in the Radiance 100 for 10 years and would retire with glory. This method of retirement was filled with honor. This would definitely increase the competitive spirit between the Radiance 100 sequence. No matter when or how intense the competition was, the Radiance 100 would be the most dazzling stars in the Radiance Federation's young generation. At the same time, they would also develop into the Radiance Federation's new pillars. It was unexpected for two sequence members to actually duel with each other in the Starry Tower's Brilliance Celestial Stairway. No wonder the Star Web streets are empty. Everyone has gone to watch the duel between the sequence members. Lin Yuan immediately settled the bill, and he took 4,000 Federation dollars out of his remaining 90,000 to purchase a ticket. However, after purchasing the ticket, Lin Yuan realized that the duel had already started for nearly 10 minutes. A duel between two sequence members on the Brilliant Celestial Stairway was rather rare, especially when these two sequence members were individuals with great popularity. That's why this duel had already gone through a large-scale advertising on the Star Web for a long time. Both the indoor and outdoor tickets had already been sold out, so Lin Yuan had to spend 4,000 Federation dollars to purchase a tall platform ticket. There was no limit to the sale of tall platform tickets, so anyone who wanted the duel could purchase them and stand on the tall platform to watch. However, the view was utterly inferior to the outdoor tickets, let alone the indoor tickets. Star Web, Celestial Stairway Duel Ground, Tall Platform. Inside the Celestial Stairway Duel Ground, cheers and yells constantly echoed, creating a vibrant atmosphere. When the passionate sound waves hit the tall platform, Lin Yuan got a shock. Lin Yuan looked around the tall platform and saw a bumblebee hat from afar. Its owner's head was shaking as she watched the duel. It seemed like Stream in the Cloud had immediately come here to watch the duel after leaving his store. There was still an empty space beside the girl. Lin Yuan walked over and heard her yelling loudly, "White Devil Lordress, do your best. Unknown Flame Lordress, you will surely win." When Lin Yuan heard Stream in the Cloud's passionate cheers, he didn't feel anything at first. But after listening to the entire cheer, he looked at the excited Stream in the Cloud in astonishment. He couldn't help but ask, "Who exactly are you cheering for? This is the first time I see someone cheering for both sides in a duel." Stream in the Cloud heard someone teasing her and turned around to see that it was Lin Yuan. When she noticed it was a familiar person, she revealed a smile, but it was immediately followed by a mind-your-own-business look. "Deep Mountain Elder Lin, both White Devil Lordress and Unknown Flame Lordress are my idols. I will be happy no matter who wins." It seemed like Stream in the Cloud was a fanatical follower. The clamor from the live venue was filled with plenty of people doing their best to yell and cheer. The atmosphere had already affected Lin Yuan and caused a blood-boiling feeling. "Deep Mountain Elder Lin, who do you support more? White Devil Lordress or Unknown Flame Lordress?" Stream in the Cloud looked at Lin Yuan with curiosity. Lin Yuan was startled by the question. Before this, he had been a busy person who barely managed to survive by struggling. His weak spiritual energy would make him dizzy after a short browse of the old-modeled mobile phone. Therefore, Lin Yuan wasn't very familiar with these two sequence members and naturally didn't know who to support. Individuals who could enter the Radiance 100 sequence were all future guardians of the Radiance Federation. Lin Yuan said, "I support both of them just like you." Stream in the Cloud's eyes lit up. Under such circumstances, supporters of the same side would definitely have a closer relationship. As such, Stream in the Cloud suddenly initiated the conversation and continuously talked to Lin Yuan. "White Devil Lordress might be sequence number 18, while Unknown Flame Lordress is sequence number 47. But I feel that Unknown Flame Lordress has a better chance to win. Unknown Flame Lordress is a power offense type spirit chi professional, while White Devil Lordress is a healing type spirit chi professional." Chapter 36. Disaster Swallowtail Butterfly. Translator. Atlas Studios Editor. Atlas Studios. Lin Yuan might not know the Radiance 100 sequence's members, but he knew that the rankings were based on their potential and strength. For a person to be ranked sequence number 18, it meant outstanding strength and potential. Even though, sequence $18, White Devil was a healer without many attack methods. Lin Yuan took a closer look at the battleground and could see that White Devil was a young lady in long white robes and had graceful black hair. At that moment, she was standing there calmly and holding a long scepter. At the front end of the scepter was a birdcage, but it didn't contain a bird. Instead, it contained a beautiful emerald jade-like butterfly. It was constantly emitting a green glow and healing the two gold feys that were defending the young lady at the front. In this celestial stairway dueling ground, two famous analysts from the Star Web were commentating on the duel with intense tones and explaining the duel situation. Lin Yuan's eyes were totally attracted by the 4 feys that appeared in the battleground. All 4 feys were gold grade, 2 were healing type, and they belonged to White Devil. When resisting damage, they were also conducting appropriate counterattacks. The healing type fey might have mostly healing abilities, but when a fey reached gold grade, even a healing type fey would have considerable combat power. The other 2 were both lava bears, violent and power offense type feys. One of the lava bears had reddish-purple fur, and when it mauled with its bare claws, it emitted paint-like reddish-purple flames that were like paint. The paint would stick onto the surface of the target and burn. It was just like a liquid flame, and it would corrode and burn anything it touched. The other lava bear had a bigger size, and its fur was bright red. Every time it attacked, the fur would burn with blazing flames. When the flames burst out of the body, they would immediately explode. The 2 lava bears' attacks gave a hard time to the 2 plant and healing type feys. Unknown Flame's red pelt armor would also respond according to the 2 lava bears' attacks on the battleground. She looked at White Devil, who was losing ground, and said, "Daisy, this battle of attrition has been going on for around 10 minutes. The spirit chi in your body is almost exhausted, right?" While speaking, Unknown Flame was still rather cautious as she gave a signal to the lava bears. The 2 lava bears immediately attacked at the Fusang 1 snow tree that was struggling to stand. With the addition of 2 different destructive fire skills, the 2 lava bears' power severely injured the Fusang snow tree, which was weak against fire. This opened up a gap in White Devil's frontal defense line. White Devil's forehead was filled with perspiration, but she still said calmly, "The difference between number 18 and number 47 isn't as simple as you imagine." After speaking, White Devil pointed at the severely injured Fusang snow tree and yelled, "Use snow chill." In a split moment, the battleground was enveloped in a layer of frost. Subsequently, she pointed at the ice soul grass, which was struggling to defend, and shouted, "Extreme cold block." The frost layer that was on the battleground instantly dispersed, and all the cold intent formed a pair of massive ice crystals. The 2 ice crystals sealed up the 2 lava bears in the midst of their battle stances. The 2 healing type feys didn't possess powerful attacks, but when they coordinated their abilities, they were able to seal 2 power offense type feys. Unknown Flame leaped backward and looked at White Devil while smirking. "Your ice soul grass and Fusang snow tree are unable to fight. Once my 2 lava bears break out of the ice, the outcome of the battle might not be according to our rankings. Don't forget that I am a healer." White Devil raised the scepter in her hand, and the emerald green butterfly in the birdcage started to radiate lustrous green light. Revival Swallowtail Butterfly. Use Wings of Revival. At that moment, the Revival Swallowtail Butterfly was enveloped in green light, and all of the power was gathered in the 2 wings. Subsequently, 2 green and hazy images of butterfly wings flew to the severely injured Fusang snow tree and ice soul grass. All of a sudden, the Fusang snow tree and the ice soul grass were like the new sprouts that had been in a drought. They rapidly recovered their injuries. Their injuries might not be fully recovered, but they were combat ready. Unknown Flame thought it wasn't good and raised her hand. In an instant, a flaming whirlwind appeared above Unknown Flame's head and caused the surrounding air to become scorching hot. Boom! A giant bear, the height of 7 meters, smashed at the Fusang snow tree and ice soul grass, which had just recovered. The sudden attack didn't allow the Fusang snow tree and ice soul grass to dodge in time as they were struck. It was highly possible that the Fusang snow tree and the ice soulgrass would be severely injured and unable to continue fighting. White Devil looked at Unknown Flame and said, "I didn't expect your flowing flame giant bear to actually reach platinum grade. However, this duel's outcome is still going to be the same." White Devil plunged the scepter into the ground and channeled all her spiritual power into the revival swallowtail butterfly before opening the door of the birdcage. When the revival swallowtail butterfly flew out of the birdcage, White Devil's black hair instantly turned snow white. The revival swallowtail butterfly, which was originally emerald green and filled with vitality, became dark red and gave off a destructive presence. The dark red revival swallowtail butterfly flapped its wings and looked as though its body was a flower that scattered. Then, it split into countless miniature dark red butterflies. These miniature butterflies were just like bullets that shot at the flame-blazing flowing flame giant bear. The strong burning whirlwind was unable to hinder the dark red revival swallowtail butterfly's speed. The dark red revival swallowtail butterflies dove into the flowing flame giant bear's body and flew out without resistance. They produced a bloody flower as though it was a bright red rose that had just blossomed. This bright red rose blossomed and immediately extinguished the flames on the flowing flame giant bear. Remarkably beautiful butterflies were flying around in a dance as though it was a rain of flowers. One big and two smaller bear feys were lying on the ground. It was the same as declaring White Devil the victor. Unknown Flame stared blankly at the fallen flowing flame giant bear and looked up to give White Devil a thumbs up. "I didn't expect your revival swallowtail butterfly to actually evolve into a gold fantasy breed. I have lost this duel fair and square." White Devil might have a pale face, but she was still calm. When the revival swallowtail butterfly evolved into a fantasy breed, it obtained another name, Disaster Swallowtail Butterfly. The cheers in the celestial stairway dueling ground didn't stop even for a split moment. When White Devil threw her arm over Unknown Flame's shoulder and raised her hand into the sky, a unified cheer echoed, shaking everyone's hearts. Stream in the Cloud grabbed onto Lin Yuan's clothes excitedly and shouted, "White Devil Lordress is too cool. Unknown Flame Lordress might have lost. But she is indeed worthy of her power to control bears. She is also overwhelmingly cool." Lin Yuan ignored the excited stream in the cloud. Presently, Lin Yuan's heart was also resonating with indescribable excitement. The warm blood in his heart was like a fountain, and Lin Yuan felt like screaming out. All of a sudden, Lin Yuan heard the analyst announcing, "White Devil Lordress, Daisy, defeated Unknown Flame Lordress, Anna. 1 star of Celestial Stairway Glory shall be rewarded." Daisy and Anna, huh? Lin Yuan lamented softly. Daisy, sequence number 18, White Devil. Anna, sequence number 47, Unknown Flame. Lin Yuan finally found out the true names of sequence number 18 White Devil and sequence number 47 Unknown Flame. Is this the top-class combat power of the Radiance Federation's young generation? Gold fantasy breed, platinum fey. All these were things that he could only look forward to, hopefully. However, in the not-so-distant future, Lin Yuan also wanted to chase this radiant light. "I might have been born as a spot of light on the duckweed, but I will also be able to gather into a vast river of stars. I will catch up one step at a time until I reach the pinnacle of brilliance." Chapter 37. Changes to the Spirit Lock Spatial Zone. Translator. Atlas Studios Editor. Atlas Studios. Lin Yuan left the star web and returned to his little store. His mind focused on the duel between the Radiance 100 sequence members. This duel allowed Lin Yuan to find out about the standard of the Radiance Federation's young generation. At the same time, Lin Yuan also had a deeper understanding as to what a fantasy breed was. A gold fantasy breed, healing type Fey was actually able to overwhelm and defeat a platinum combat class Fey. Lin Yuan had also obtained a willpower rune, and it was still floating around Lin Yuan's spiritual zone with spiritual energy. The floating willpower rune formed a mountain pattern, and it was reenacting the rebirth of plants after a great destruction. It emitted a feeling of boundless vitality from a green mountain. This willpower rune was very suitable for healing type Feys, and as of now, Lin Yuan's only healing type Fey was the Jasmine Lily. It was unknown what the jasmine lily would transform into when its quality reached legend, and it fused with this willpower rune to become a fantasy breed. Not long after returning to the little store, Lin Yuan evolved the remaining pots of usnias to elite grade. At that moment, apart from the contracted phase, Lin Yuan didn't have other phase to evolve. The book microchips, the 5 elite X/flawless web-spraying spiders, the spirit siphon goldfish, the energy ores, and the butterfly shells that he had purchased on the star web had yet to arrive. Seeing that his house had nearly no food ingredients, Lin Yuan carried Genius and Chimey out. Genius stood on Lin Yuan's shoulder while Chimey stood on Genius' little head. Chimey was chirping out loudly and was in a great mood. Lin Yuan smiled at Genius and Chimey while saying, "Genius, Chimey, I will bring the two of you out for shopping. Let's go." When Lin Yuan was previously maintaining the store, it wasn't earning much money. Even if it earned some money, Lin Yuan would save them up for Chu Si's future school fees. Apart from purchasing goods, Lin Yuan didn't have many chances to bring Genius and Chimey out for a shopping trip. Now that Lin Yuan had money, he naturally wouldn't be as thrifty as before. On this trip, apart from the purchase of fruits and vegetables, the rest of the Federation dollars were used to purchase the daily necessities. Of course, Lin Yuan didn't need much of any daily necessities, and most of them were actually for Genius and Chimey. Lin Yuan had already purchased several bags of energy biscuits that were suitable for elite-grade omnivorous phase. He had also purchased some consumable spiritual ingredients for Chimey that could enhance its feather's durability. After pushing a whole stack of daily necessities back home, someone knocked on the door of the store. Lin Yuan opened the door to see a man wearing the ostrich logistics uniform. He had put down several spirit storage boxes on the ground. "I am Ostrich Logistics Courier number 75457. I have delivered the sir's goods that were purchased on the star web on time. Please sign for them here." Lin Yuan quickly signed. All the things that he had purchased from the star web had already arrived. "Thank you." After obtaining Lin Yuan's signature and ensuring that the items were correct, the courier left. Lin Yuan couldn't help but be amazed at the efficiency of Ostrich Logistics. It was truly living up to its reputation. As long as it was within the Radiance Federation, Ostrich Logistics would be able to deliver the goods within 3 hours. After signing for the goods, Lin Yuan shifted the spirit storage boxes into the house and started off by taking out the spirit siphon goldfish. When Lin Yuan took the normal I/normal spirit siphon goldfish out of the spirit storage box, it was very frail. It felt as though Lin Yuan would take this little fellow's life with just a light grip. The spirit siphon goldfish struggled lightly in Lin Yuan's hand. The 2 protruding black eyes on its head looked very silly and cute. Lin Yuan immediately used Morbius' exclusive skill, Spirit Lock, to turn the telescope spirit siphon goldfish into Morbius Elite Spirit Locked Fey. Subsequently, Lin Yuan started to evolve the spirit siphon goldfish. When the spirit siphon goldfish reached elite grade, Lin Yuan took a glance at the time. It took me over 1 hour to evolve the spirit siphon goldfish. Furthermore, the growth of spiritual power in my body is exactly the same as the growth when I evolved a pot of usnia to elite grade. The difficulty of evolving the spirit siphon goldfish was truly living up to its notorious fame. It was no wonder the spirit siphon goldfish was an unpopular fey among creation masters. After the spirit siphon goldfish reached elite grade, it became more than 2 times bigger than before. The scales on its body weren't as mottled, and it became smooth like satin. It felt just like a layer of black silk wrapping on the body. The tail had bloomed like a half-opened umbrella. The 2 massive eyes on the head didn't change, but there was a layer of faint golden scales around the eyes. The golden scales might be weaved together with the black scales, but it was rather prominent when observing it closely. The telescope spirit siphon goldfish was considered a famous subspecies. If Lin Yuan were to put the spirit siphon goldfish to sell on the Star Web Store, he would easily earn 8 Radiance dollars. After evolving the spirit siphon goldfish, Lin Yuan entered the Spirit Lock spatial zone and poured the 2,000 caddies worth of inferior energy ores from the spirit storage box into the spirit pool. The inferior energy ores immediately disintegrated inside the spirit pool and turned into spirit chi that was released into the Spirit Lock spatial zone. Lin Yuan was constantly pouring the inferior energy ores into the pool, and when he poured in around 1,700 caddies, the spirit pool didn't continue disintegrating the inferior energy ores. Lin Yuan knew that this was the spirit chi's concentration limit in the spirit lock spatial zone. When making a comparison, Lin Yuan realized that the spirit chi concentration in the spirit lock spatial zone was around 5 times more than the outside world. Lin Yuan was extremely satisfied as the spirit lock spatial zone would constantly be upgraded when Morbius evolved. By then, the spirit chi concentration would only become denser. As for the remaining 300 caddies of energy ores that were poured into the spirit pool, Lin Yuan didn't bother. Be it the jasmine lily or the spirit siphon goldfish, they would be rapidly using up the spirit chi within the spirit lock spatial zone. Once the spirit chi concentration in the spatial zone was reduced, the spirit pool would automatically disintegrate the remaining energy ores for replenishment. Lin Yuan placed the spirit siphon goldfish into the spirit pool, and it immediately swam around with content. At that moment, Lin Yuan could feel the spirit siphon goldfish gradually absorbing the spirit chi in the spatial zone. Lin Yuan compared and analyzed the speed of him evolving the spirit siphon goldfish personally and the speed of the spirit siphon goldfish absorbing the pure spirit chi in the spatial zone automatically. If the spirit siphon goldfish was to evolve from normal grade to elite grade in this spirit lock spatial zone, it would need about 10 days. Of course, the precondition was to have a constant supply of energy ores within these 10 days. After calculating the spirit siphon goldfish's growth speed in the spirit lock spatial zone, Lin Yuan decided the direction of the Star Web Store's development. He was going to rely on selling elite spirit siphon goldfish to build his reputation. If a huge quantity of elite spirit siphon goldfish, which were highly demanded, were to appear in the purchase with no loss face store, it would probably cause his store's reputation to soar. Lin Yuan then scattered the butterfly shells at the bottom of the spirit pool. When the butterfly shells entered the water and landed on top of the white energy ores, they looked like scattered ginkgo leaves in autumn. It was an especially beautiful scenery. The spirit siphon goldfish immediately bit one of the butterfly shells and consumed it, gradually absorbing its energy. The butterfly shells would have more or less some effects to awaken the spirit siphon goldfish's bloodline. However, the effects weren't significant. Lin Yuan thought that if he could obtain the blood of a dragon species fey before the spirit siphon goldfish's quality reached epic, it would increase its chances of awakening the rare dragon species bloodline greatly. Chapter 38. Sparrow Voice Lowly Goddess. Translator. Atlas Studios Editor. Atlas Studios. A dragon fey's blood was considered a precious spiritual ingredient, and the prices were naturally extremely high. Most of the dragon feys were above gold grade. If the spirit siphon goldfish reached bronze grade and awakened the rare dragon species bloodline, it wouldn't be considered a dragon species fey unless the bloodline concentration reached a certain standard. From this point, it was obvious that the dragon species fey's blood was very hard to obtain. Rare spiritual ingredients, such as a dragon fey's fresh blood, were all sold by the drop. Lin Yuan didn't really understand the dragon species fey's price, but it was fortunate that he had added Zhou Jiasen on the Star Web as a friend. By then, he just had to ask Zhou Jiasen. He might not know how much a dragon species fey's blood cost, but it was certainly very expensive. Lin Yuan wanted to earn more money and prepare the amount needed to purchase the dragon species blood in advance. He was going to set a small target to earn 100 million Federation dollars, which was also 100 Radiance dollars. The spirit chi concentration inside the spirit lock spatial zone was 5 times more concentrated than outside. Lin Yuan circulated the spirit chi and realized that even though the circulation speed didn't change, the efficiency increased to around 5 times the speed due to the concentrated spirit passing through his body. This discovery left Lin Yuan pleasantly surprised. Lin Yuan quickly took an Elite X/Flawless web spraying spiders out of the spirit storage box and placed it inside the spirit lock spatial zone. He then rapidly channeled the spirit chi to enhance the web spraying spider. When Lin Yuan was enhancing web spraying spider, he could feel a boundary inside the web spraying spider's body. The boundary felt like it could be shattered if Lin Yuan charged into it a few times with spirit chi. However, Lin Yuan didn't do so. If he broke through the boundary, the web-spraying spider would evolve from elite grade to bronze grade with flawless quality. That wasn't what Lin Yuan wanted. Lin Yuan didn't use the spirit qi to smash through the boundary, but instead constantly poured the spirit qi into the web-spraying spider's body. He allowed the web-spraying spider to absorb as much spirit qi as possible to enhance its quality. After a certain period of time, the web-spraying spider's quality reached epic, so Lin Yuan stopped channeling the spirit qi. He looked at the time and realized that it took him over 2 hours to break through flawless to epic. Had he not been enhancing the web-spraying spider in the spirit lock spatial zone, he would probably have needed to spend over a dozen hours. Furthermore, this speed was because he had progressed into a D-rank spirit qi professional. The results stated that it was much harder to increase the quality of a fey than to evolve it. Furthermore, this was just enhancing it from flawless to epic. How much more time and effort would be required to enhance them from epic to legend? Lin Yuan suddenly realized that the spirit qi concentration in the spirit lock spatial zone was no longer 5 times more concentrated than outside. He looked at the spirit pool and realized that the 300 caddies of inferior energy ores at the bottom of the spirit pool had already vanished. They had been used up when Lin Yuan increased web-spraying spider's quality. Lin Yuan made a calculation by using the number of inferior energy ores used. In order to enhance one Elite X/flawless web-spraying spider to Elite X/epic, it would need 700 caddies of inferior energy ores. It was around 0.35 radiance dollars according to the purchase price of the materials. There was a certain price to pay to make use of the increased speed of enhancement and evolution in the spirit lock spatial zone. However, the price to pay was nearly negligible when comparing it with the speed. The biggest problem that Lin Yuan had right now was the lack of funds. Without enough funds, he wouldn't be able to purchase more inferior energy ores, and it was rather vexing for Lin Yuan. Lin Yuan brought the Elite X/epic web-spraying spider out of the spirit lock spatial zone and didn't continue to enhance the 4 remaining web-spraying spiders. Instead, he made the preparations for Genius to memorize the books on the primary rank of Scholar, Fey Observer, and Spiritual Ingredient Analyst. The 100 questions beast required time to memorize new knowledge, but it was rather fast. To memorize 300 over books, it would only require around 20 days. When it was time for Lin Yuan to visit Zhou Jiasen's store to look for hidden goods, Genius would have already memorized the needed knowledge. Afterward, Lin Yuan could take the exam for the Creation Master occupation. Once he passed the exam to become a Creation Master, he would be like a flood dragon entering the sea or a peacock returning to the forest. His future path would be headed for the sky, and it would be particularly spacious. Lin Yuan applied for a Star Web account for Genius and entered the book microchips into Genius Star Web account. Genius then sat there, obediently to study carefully. It had always been passionate about studying. Lin Yuan logged into the Star Web and entered his small store. He suddenly noticed that all the pots of usnias had been completely reserved. Lin Yuan was rather surprised that all the elite/elite usnias would be sold out in such a short period of time. Also, numerous people had actually left messages saying that they wanted to order more elite usnias. It seemed like there wasn't a need to worry about the hot-selling items, no matter the timing. It was different from other feys, which might also be great, but due to the limited demand, they might not be able to sell out quickly. Lin Yuan didn't reply to these messages, as he was planning to only use bronze usnias for the next sale. Lin Yuan was preparing to break through from a D-rank Spirit Qi professional into a C-rank Spirit Qi professional. After becoming a C-rank Spirit Qi professional, I will be able to evolve feys to bronze grade with a much faster speed. Lin Yuan knew that he was able to evolve feys to bronze grade, but he felt a little unmotivated if he had to increase the quality of a bronze fey. Only after becoming a C-rank Spirit Qi professional, Lin Yuan would be able to increase the bronze phase quality to legend and allow it to transform into the fantasy breed. Lin Yuan hadn't set a fixed price for the 2 other web-spraying spiders, so that the ones that were willing to purchase them would leave the price with the AI robot. The prices offered were actually more than what he expected. 3 individuals had made an offer for the web-spraying spider with the adhesive spider web skill, and the highest offer was 1.1 radiance dollars. As for the other web-spraying spider that had awakened the violent venom skill, only 1 person had made an offer, and the price was 1.3 radiance dollars. The bids weren't considered high, but if Lin Yuan was willing to wait, it wouldn't be a problem to sell the bronze web-spraying spiders for 2.7 radiance dollars. However, Lin Yuan didn't have the choice to wait. He immediately responded to the two individuals who had offered the highest price and sold the 2 bronze web-spraying spiders. Immediately after, he used his store's name to contact Ostrich Logistics and make the delivery. Newly opened stores on the Star Web could sign a contract with Ostrich Logistics for them to arrange and deliver the goods. However, for each item that Ostrich Logistics delivered, they would take a commission based on the goods price. Ostrich Logistics took a rather high commission, but they were fast and safe. If something happened, they would compensate for the losses. It was also why so many individuals were willing to choose Ostrich Logistics. Now that the 2 web-spraying spiders and the elite usnias had been sold, Lin Yuan's financial crisis was immediately resolved. Chimey was chirping and singing. After singing for quite some time, it felt rather bored. When it saw Lin Yuan and Genius busy using the Star Web, Chimey's eyes flickered before it jumped onto Genius' head. It chirped and said, "Genius, Genius, do you think my singing is nice?" "It is nice. And it is getting better." Genius didn't know why Chimey was asking this question, as Chimey was normally very shy. "Genius, can you secretly apply for a Star Web account for me? I want to start a live stream." After speaking, it let out 2 chirps and took a glance at its azure blue feathers and said confidently, "I want to become an attractive host with a beautiful voice. My name shall be Sparrow Voice Lowly Goddess. But you are a bird." When looking at Genius' silly expression, Chimey felt it was the smarter of the duo. "You can just help me put on a GIF, right?" Chimey felt that it was the prettiest and most clever sound bird with the best singing voice right now. Chapter 39. Anung. Translator. Atlas Studios Editor. Atlas Studios. Chimey would be singing at home whenever it didn't have anything to do. Lin Yuan was already used to Chimey's singing, its routine activity at home. Therefore, Lin Yuan wasn't paying attention to Chimey when it was singing seriously. After Genius reached elite grade, most of its capabilities were already comparable with humans. In fact, its memory was several times better than humans. Soon, Chimey successfully became a beautiful host with an amazing voice with Genius' help. At that moment, a cute GIF of a loli was blocking half the screen, and Chimey was singing behind the GIF. When a host just started their channel, it was normal not to have many viewers. 1 or 2 occasional people would pass by and quickly exit the channel. However, Chimey's singing was just like that phoenix's clear chirping on the Kuan Mountain and the rustling leaves of the purple bamboo forest. It sounded interesting and appealing, even mellower than the morning dew that dripped down from the pandan leaves. Therefore, Chimey's live streaming room became a cave of the silken web one, where one couldn't escape after entering. Those who entered had no thoughts of leaving. Wow! How can there be such a nice voice in this world? It is a fairy singing. Little sister, why are you using a GIF to block your face? Shouldn't a beautiful host be showing their face? Could this song be little sister's original song? I have searched for the lyrics on the Star Web but couldn't find any match. Each of the viewers that entered the room couldn't help but start to praise Chimey like a violent storm. There was even a generous viewer that instantly rewarded Chimey with 500 Federation dollars. These people had been blasting messages for a long time but realized that the host didn't reply to them. They actually felt that the host had a unique personality, so they turned into dogs that continued to lick and shower the host with praises. The current circumstances were mainly due to Chimey's great singing that was simply too amazing. Chimey might be calm on the surface, but its heart was already racing. Chimey wanted to send a message for the viewers to praise it more, but it didn't know how to reply, and Genius was diligently studying the books Lin Yuan had arranged. Chimey had no choice but to pretend that it didn't see the messages and continued singing. After Chimey was tired from singing, it casually switched off the live stream. However, Chimey didn't know that when it had been singing earlier, one of the viewers had actually recorded the live stream and posted it on the Star Web. The name Sparrow Voice Lowly Goddess spread like wildfire. It was like a spark in the plains during autumn that turned into a raging prairie fire. A short moment later, a knocking sound echoed in Lin Yuan's store. When Lin Yuan opened the door, he saw a 1.7-meter-tall girl. She was wearing the Ostrich Logistics uniform and had short dark red hair. It was a cool hairstyle, but it was particularly bashful on this girl's face. "Hello. Are you the store owner for purchase with no loss? Mr. Deep Mountain Elder Lin." When speaking, the girl was silently clenching her hands as she was rather nervous, and her tone sounded a little shaky. Upon noticing the ostrich logistics uniform on the girl, Lin Yuan knew that she was here to pick up the goods. He immediately replied, "That's right. It is me. You should be here to pick up the goods, right?" Lin Yuan's acknowledgement allowed the girl with the short dark red short heave a sigh of relief. She let out a shy laugh and said, "I am the newcomer courier number 3451. My name is Aneng. According to your contract, I shall be purchased with no loss store's dedicated courier." Lin Yuan felt that Aneng was very cute when he saw her actually place her fist at her chest to encourage herself. "Then, I shall trouble you from now on, Miss Aneng. Does this mean that Mr. Deep Mountain Elder Lin agrees for me to be the dedicated courier for purchase with no loss store and will not change me?" Aneng was pleasantly surprised as she smiled and revealed her two tiger teeth. It looked as though she had encountered a great thing. At that moment, Lin Yuan recalled that the contract with Ostrich Logistics mentioned the service to apply for a change of dedicated courier. Upon seeing Aneng's expression, Lin Yuan could imagine that Aneng had been switched out more than once. After Lin Yuan gave the affirmative nod, Aneng immediately yelled out, "Yeah!" Subsequently, she circulated her spiritual energy and summoned two of her contracted feys. Lin Yuan didn't expect a young-looking girl like her to actually possess gold and silver feys. "I am very formidable, super aggressive. That's why there will be no problem with the goods as long as you hand them to me. If there are any accidents, I will use my bullet rain to extinguish the enemies with pain." Aneng was afraid that Lin Yuan might not be at ease and was doing her best to prove her strength. Upon seeing the two feys, Lin Yuan knew that she was a spirit chi professional with high potential that Ostrich Logistics had nurtured. However, he couldn't understand why she would become his dedicated courier. Gold armor-piercing insect, silver canister shot insect. These two feys attacks would be just like a concentrated rain of bullets that had extreme lethality. It seemed like Aneng wasn't as bashful as she seemed, and deep down inside, she was a person that worshipped violence. Aneng happily packaged the goods that had to be delivered for Lin Yuan and said, "This might be my first task, but I can guarantee that I will deliver all of them safely within 2 hours. I will not even need the 3 hours stated in the contract." She then left cheerfully. Surprisingly, just as Aneng left, Lin Yuan saw a few pieces of paper dropping on the ground. He quickly picked them up and chased after Aneng while calling out to her. He then handed over the courier lists that had dropped on the ground. Aneng was originally in a great mood, but after seeing the courier lists Lin Yuan handed over, her face immediately turned red. She ran off like a little rabbit immediately after receiving the courier lists. Lin Yuan couldn't help but criticize in his heart. He felt that newcomers were definitely not as reliable. After returning home, Lin Yuan realized that he had already received 3.9 radiance dollars within 2 hours. This amount was for the sale of the elite usnias and the 2 bronze web-spraying spiders. Lin Yuan immediately felt invigorated with the 3.9 radiance dollars, so he logged into the star web to contact Zhou Jiasen. "Deep Mountain Elder Lin, Big Sister Xian. I wish to order another 4,000 caddies of inferior energy ores, and 3 butterfly telescope spirit siphon goldfish of random colors." Within a few minutes, Lin Yuan spent the money that he had just earned. He was left with merely 0.4 radiance dollars. Lin Yuan would need 1,000 Federation dollars for 3 months' expenses, and he would still have some spare in the past. However, now, Lin Yuan felt that it was irresistible to spend radiance dollars. He didn't know if it was because of his confidence or that he was stronger for him to actually have such thoughts. "Zhou Jiasen, you still need 4,000 caddies of inferior energy ores? I have the stock. If you need them, I will send them to you immediately. As for the 3 normal spirit siphon goldfish, I remember there are 3 rather good-looking butterfly telescope spirit siphon goldfish in the pond. I will fish them up for you." Chapter 40. The Importance of Connections. Zhou Jiasen quickly saw the order and responded to Lin Yuan. However, She couldn't understand why this customer of hers would need so many inferior energy ores for. Deep Mountain Elder Lin. Then I shall thank Big Sister Xan. Does Big Sister Xan have any dragon blood? Zhou Jiasun pondered for a long time before replying to Lin Yuan. I do have some stock of dragon blood. I wonder how much you need. Lin Yuan had been searching on the star web and hadn't been able to find any store selling dragon blood. He vaguely felt that it was impossible to purchase spiritual ingredients with just money and would need better connections. Deep Mountain Elder Lin. Big Sister Xian. What is the price for dragon blood now? Zhou Jiasun. The price of gold-grade dragon blood is 80 radiance dollars for 1 drop. The price of platinum-grade dragon blood is 2,000 radiance dollars for a drop. Zhou Jiasun had already made a decision in her heart to build a good relationship with Lin Yuan. One of the factors was due to her good impression of Lin Yuan during the day. Another factor was because of Lin Yuan's purchasing power. Lin Yuan had only visited the store for the first day and had already spent 5 radiance dollars in a few hours. Such a customer was definitely worth tying down. Lin Yuan had already given a higher estimation for the price of dragon blood, but he didn't think that it would actually be so expensive. If a single drop of platinum-grade dragon blood cost 2,000 radiance dollars, Lin Yuan didn't dare to imagine the price of a platinum dragon fey. In order to activate the rare dragon bloodline in the spirit siphon goldfish's bodies when they reached bronze grade, gold-grade dragon blood might already be enough. If he was lucky, a single drop of the dragon blood would do the trick, but it would be more conservative in preparing 3 drops. In regards to his own phase evolutions, Lin Yuan wanted to be properly prepared for everything. When Zhou Jiasun noticed that Lin Yuan didn't reply for a long time, she immediately sent another message. Zhou Jiasun. The price I offered to you might be higher than the lowest price in the market, but I can ensure that the concentration of the dragon blood hasn't been diluted at all. When Lin Yuan saw Zhou Jiasun's message, he couldn't help but have a better impression of her. When purchasing spiritual ingredients, the terrifying thing was to guarantee the spiritual ingredients' quality. If the spiritual ingredients' quality didn't reach a certain standard, when a creation master was evolving a fey, it might cause the evolution to fail or an incomplete evolution. If it was a failed evolution, the process could be restarted. But if it was an incomplete evolution, then certain aspects of the fey would definitely be weakened after the evolution. Evolution was a gift to life and the most creative process of natural selection in the natural world. Thus, evolutions were never reversible. It was why the quality of spiritual ingredients played a huge role. Deep Mountain Elder Lin. Big Sister Xian, I might order a batch of normal spirit siphon goldfish from your store in the next few days. I want the butterfly telescope subspecies. As for the dragon blood, we will make a deal when I visit your store on the 27th. Zhou Jiasun, don't you worry. I will pick out all the normal butterfly telescope spirit siphon goldfish for you. I guarantee that all of them are great looking. When reading that Lin Yuan was preparing to make so many orders, Zhou Jiasun was delighted. In her heart, she felt that it was the correct decision to build a good relationship with Lin Yuan. Now that Lin Yuan learned the dragon blood's price, he started to calculate in his heart. The gold-grade dragon blood's price was 80 radiance dollars for a drop, and Lin Yuan required 3 drops. It meant that Lin Yuan would need to prepare at least 240 radiance dollars. 240 radiance dollars wasn't a small sum for Lin Yuan, but it wasn't an astronomical amount that he couldn't collect. Therefore, Lin Yuan made a plan to earn money. After receiving the goods from Zhou Jiasun, Lin Yuan would enter the Spirit Lock spatial zone and enhance the 4 remaining Elite X/flawless web-spraying spiders. As for the 3 normal Spirit Siphon goldfish, Lin Yuan was going to place them in the spirit pool in the spatial zone. Lin Yuan had chosen butterfly telescope goldfish because this was the best-selling subspecies among all the elite spirit siphon goldfish. The tea-colored butterfly telescope spirit siphon goldfish were swimming around cheerfully in the spirit pool, and they looked delighted. It was obvious that the high concentration of spirit chi in the spirit lock spatial zone was the best living environment for the normal spirit siphon goldfish. The 3 spirit siphon goldfish were just like amber-colored camellias blooming in the depths of the spirit pool. Along with the spirit-locked elite spirit siphon goldfish, the 4 spirit siphon goldfish gave off a poetry-like feeling to this spirit pool. In the beginning, the 3 normal and 1 elite spirit siphon goldfish were living together nicely in the spirit pool. However, when the 3 normal butterfly telescope spirit siphon goldfish wanted to eat the butterfly shells, the elite telescope spirit siphon goldfish attacked them. It started to brandish its tail in the water and lash at the 3 normal butterfly telescope goldfish. Although the tail lash's power might not be great and humans wouldn't feel anything, when it lashed on the 3 obviously smaller butterfly telescope goldfish, the trio was sent tumbling in the spirit pool. They tumbled for 3 rounds before gradually stopping. After a few attacks, even though the 3 normal butterfly telescope goldfish felt that the butterfly shells could benefit them, they still didn't dare to take a bite. Lin Yuan burst out in laughter. It was fortunate that this elite goldfish could protect the butterfly shells. Otherwise, he would need to think of a method to isolate the 3 butterfly telescope goldfish. These 3 tea-colored butterfly telescope goldfish would be able to reach elite grade within 5 days. Lin Yuan was planning to put them on sale in the Star Web Store when they reached elite grade, setting a price of 8 radiance dollars. Therefore, letting these 3 butterfly telescope goldfish eat the butterfly shells would be just a waste. However, Lin Yuan was rather surprised. These 4 spirit siphon goldfish had been living together in the pond at Zhou Jiasen's store previously. However, after Lin Yuan's spirit-locked goldfish reached elite grade, it actually attacked its previous companions because of resources. Lin Yuan realized that this wasn't just the process of natural selection. It was also the survival of the fittest. It made Lin Yuan understand why strong individuals would grow stronger while weak individuals would have a hard time rising up. The elite telescope spirit siphon goldfish swam around the spirit pool willfully, while the 3 butterfly telescope spirit siphon goldfish would gather and cower in a corner. They didn't dare to swim toward the center of the spirit pool at all. Lin Yuan could vaguely feel that even though the spirit pool no longer had any energy ores, there was still a trace of spirit chi constantly pouring into the spirit lock spatial zone. This was the great effect of breeding spirit siphon goldfish in the spirit lock spatial zone. However, the speed of spirit chi being released from the spirit siphon goldfish and its consumption speed was truly disproportionate. During this period of time, Lin Yuan had constantly been pouring the 4,000 caddies of inferior energy ores into the spirit pool. For the next 2 days, Lin Yuan finally enhanced the 5 Elite X/Flawless web-spraying spiders to Elite X/Epic. Lin Yuan let out a relaxed breath and stood up to stretch his body. It is time to hand these custom feys to that braised egghead. Stream in the cloud. Chapter 41. A surprising customer. Lin Yuan entered his Star Web Store and realized that there were actually 2 individuals in an intense quarrel beside the AI robot. Lin Yuan was a little baffled as all of the items in the store had already been sold. What exactly was the duo's objective? Why were they quarreling? At that moment, Lin Yuan heard a rather strange and unique voice. A woman is fundamentally weak. Those who become mothers would become strong-willed. This big sister is very noble. Are you even fit to speak with this big sister like this? The woman placed a hand on her waist, and it seemed like that she was extremely enraged. In the next instant, Lin Yuan heard an abnormally calm voice. I have prayed to Buddha, and Buddha said that you shouldn't think of snatching from me no matter what. Before the calm voice could finish talking, the enraged woman immediately followed up. Why didn't the Buddha ask you to toss your bone ashes? Previously, you and I entered together, but you said that you are in a hurry, so I allowed you to order first. But you actually ordered all of the elite usnias. Shameless. Buddha said. Don't tell me what the Buddha is saying. Do you think you are karma? Since I helped you, you should return the favor. You aren't going to return the favor, and I have to help you again? I have helped you previously, but you actually reprimanded me. Let's see if I will stab you. Buddha said I didn't reprimand you. When did I? Stop all this nonsense. If you are unhappy, add me as a Star Web friend, and we will arrange for a meeting in real life. See if I will really stab you. Buddha said. Lin Yuan gasped in amazement. This violent-tempered woman was actually able to quarrel with a person that was more inclined to Buddhism than Buddha himself. At the same time, the violent-tempered woman was going to be enraged to death. Before the violent-tempered woman was about to make a move, Lin Yuan quickly stopped them. Why are the two of you quarreling in my store? I have nothing on sale in my store now. Come back again once there are goods to sell. After speaking, Lin Yuan minded his own business and displayed the 5 Elite X/Epic web spraying spiders in the Star Web store. Lin Yuan then heard 2 gasps. These were 5 Elite X/Epic web spraying spiders, so it was no wonder the duo was astonished. Elite X/Epic feys represented a kind of foundation. For 5 to appear together, it meant that a creation master backed this little store. There were plenty of stores in the Star Web, but ones that were supported and backed by creation masters were rare. Only large stores were qualified to be supported by creation masters. However, no one expected an unknown Class 1 store to be backed by a creation master. When Lin Yuan heard the duo mentioning his web-spraying spiders, he informed them, "These are custom-ordered feys. They are not for sale." After hearing that these were custom-ordered feys, the duo looked at Lin Yuan with even more respect. In order to enhance elite feys to epic quality, one would need to be a Class 2 creation master. A Class 1 creation master could accomplish it, but they would need to use a large number of spiritual ingredients to do so. It was fine for Class 1 creation masters to increase the grade, but to enhance the quality, Class 1 creation masters had a much lower efficiency and speed. In order to enhance 5 feys to epic quality at once, it was only possible for a Class 2 creation master. Class 1 creation masters were already limited in numbers. Among every 30 Class 1 creation masters, only one of them would achieve in becoming a Class 2 creation master. It was truly the cream of the crop. Since a Class 2 creation master was overseeing the place, it was a must to curry favor with the one in charge. I wonder what kind of spiritual ingredients are required to make a custom order in this store? When he heard the duo's questions, Lin Yuan realized that these two hadn't read the custom order rules that he had written on the AI robot's information board. The store is currently accepting Radiance dollars for custom-ordered feys. The price will be based on the required custom-ordered fey. The duo felt it was unbelievable, and they subsequently became ecstatic. There is actually no need for spiritual ingredients, and the only requirement is Radiance dollars? Since when did Creation Master standard of making custom-ordered feys Creation Masters become so low? May I ask if I can custom order feys now? Lin Yuan shook his head. He had signed a custom order contract with Stream in the Cloud, which stated that the contract would only end after producing the exclusive skill, Transparent Spider Web. The first phase was to produce 5 custom-ordered feys. If all 15 choices of exclusive skills from these 5 web-spraying spiders didn't contain the Transparent Spider Web, Stream in the Cloud would continue to make custom orders of elite/epic web-spraying spiders from him. Moreover, Lin Yuan was planning to achieve a significant progression for his phase grade and quality before visiting Zhou Jiasen's store on the 27th. He wanted to enhance Genius, Chimey, the Spirit Lock Jasmine Lily, and the Spirit Siphon Goldfish to elite grade and epic quality first. As such, Lin Yuan wasn't planning to accept any custom orders during this period of time. As for the money to purchase the gold grade Dragon Blood, he would constantly be producing elite Spirit Siphon Goldfish in the Spirit Lock Spatial Zone during these 20+ days. He would be able to nurture 4 batches of Spirit Siphon Goldfish. By then, he would have enough after selling all of the elite goldfish. I will only be accepting custom orders next month. The duo revealed delighted expressions and nodded after hearing Lin Yuan's response. When they recalled the objective of their visits, they quickly asked Lin Yuan, "I wonder if you still have any elite usnias?" So far, the duo seemed to be in sync, as they would always be saying the same thing, just with different mouths. They didn't expect the other party to dare mention about the elite usnias. Unsurprisingly, they were immediately enraged and about to start bickering again. Lin Yuan had a headache and immediately stopped them. "If I am selling anything else, I will not be selling any more elite usnias." The two individuals were disappointed, but they didn't expect Lin Yuan to turn the topic around. "I might not be selling elite usnias, but the store will sell bronze usnias and elite Spirit Siphon Goldfish in the future. You are welcome to make reservations." Lin Yuan's objective was to earn Radiance dollars quickly. If he wanted to increase his strength, the expenditure of Radiance dollars would be the same as a river's water flowing straight into the sea. Therefore, Lin Yuan didn't mind putting on an advertisement for his store. One should know that the clothes one wore in the real world would be materialized in the star web. The two individuals' clothes were spiritual ones, meaning weavers, the lifestyle class spirit chi occupation, had produced them. Thus, it was logical to assume that their spending capability would be of a certain standard. When they heard Lin Yuan's statement, their jaws nearly dropped to the ground. At the same time, they started to suspect their lives. Bronze usnias? Elite spirit siphon goldfish? These feys were rarely available in the star web. One might occasionally discover elite spirit siphon goldfish in star web stores. However, no one would be silly enough to sell bronze usnias in their store. One could frequently buy a bronze usnias vines from high-class stores on the star web, and a batch of 5,000 vines was worth $1 radiance. A bronze usnia would need merely 1.5 a year to produce 5,000 vines. Therefore, a bronze usnia was equivalent to a hen that would automatically produce radiance dollars. If a person was able to buy a bronze usnia, it was the same as purchasing a house, and selling the vines would be the same as receiving rent. The bronze usnia would remain the same, and the vines produced on a daily basis would serve as pure profit. Young brother, may I ask about the price of the bronze usnias and the elite spirit siphon goldfish? Lin Yuan had already set a price long ago. The bronze usnia's price is 5 radiance dollars. As for the elite spirit siphon goldfish, they will all be of the butterfly telescope subspecies. Their price is 8 radiance dollars. Then, Lin Yuan supplemented with another statement. By then, the buying process will still be the snap-up scheme, first come, first served. But if you quarrel in here again, you will enter the store's blacklist and will never be able to buy any fey from here again. Chapter 42. Revival Soil. As Lin Yuan stated this, he was thinking of setting a rule for his store. It wouldn't be that kind of rule that was so rigid as the old saying, "If there are no rules, there will not be a proper perimeter." However, Lin Yuan just didn't wish to handle such pointless conflicts. If someone was to fight in his store, it wouldn't be great for his store's reputation or development. The violent-tempered woman and the Buddhism-inclined person expressed that they would closely monitor Lin Yuan's store for the next 2 days. If there were any new items for sale, they would snatch them up. The Buddhism-inclined person left, but the violent-tempered woman stayed behind. She stood in place, unwilling to leave. Lin Yuan took a glance and understood that this violent-tempered woman had something to say but didn't know how to say it. Lin Yuan took the initiative and asked, "If you have anything, you can ask me directly. But this store doesn't have anything to sell right now." After hesitating for a long time, the violent-tempered woman asked carefully, "May I know if this store is able to heal feys with severely injured roots?" Lin Yuan thought that it would be something else. He was naturally able to heal a severely injured fey. However, he was still a D-rank spirit chi professional, and the fey that he would be healing couldn't be higher than silver grade. If the fey was above silver grade, Lin Yuan's healing session would be several times longer, and it would be extremely slow. Currently, Lin Yuan was only confident in healing a bronze fey swiftly. The store is indeed able to heal severely injured feys, but only ones below silver. The store isn't going to accept jobs to heal silver feys and above. As soon as Lin Yuan ended the statement, the violent-tempered person suddenly yelled out with tears, "My daughter's fey is finally going to be saved. It is finally going to be rescued." The moment the violent-tempered woman teared up, Lin Yuan involuntarily recalled the words she had uttered when he had just arrived at the store. A woman is fundamentally weak. Those who become mothers would become strong-willed. However, no matter how strong-willed a mother was, she would always be gentle and fragile when facing her children. After crying for a period of time, the violent-tempered woman continued to say, "It is a bronze fey. My daughter's bronze fey had been at the previous dimensional rift's vicinity to train. The flames of a horned demon burned its root." Lin Yuan's heart sank when he heard the 2 words, horned demon. The horned demon was a monster from the demon dimensional rift. It had a body of a barbaric bull, and it was extremely strong. While charging, its giant horns would attack the target. When the horns struck at the target, they would automatically ignite and activate the burning charge. The attack's damage was truly dreadful. No matter how powerful a regular flame was, It wouldn't damage the roots of a fey. However, the horn demon's flames had a withering effect. The withering effect was unexpectedly lethal against plant-type feys, and the horn demon's burning charge would only injure plant-type feys roots. Then make an appointment in advance. In October, bring your daughter and her fey to the store. I will diagnose it before arranging for the treatment. After Lin Yuan agreed, the violent-tempered woman finally relaxed, and she constantly thanked him. Owner, what are the fees for the treatment? I am afraid that I do not have enough money now. But don't you worry, I will definitely gather enough money by next month. Lin Yuan pondered for a moment and gave the price. I don't need radiance dollars. You just need to find me a bag of revival soil. Only Class 2 creation masters could achieve in healing a bronze phase damaged roots. The best methods for creation masters to earn money were evolving phase and enhancing their quality. In order to heal a phase damaged roots, the creation master would have to use spiritual ingredients to assist in the recuperation. It would be wasting time and experience. At the same time, it might not be a 100% recovery. Thus, it was very hard to hire a top-class creation master to heal a phase damaged roots without any special connections. A fey contract couldn't be changed, and if the phase roots were damaged, it would be the same as damaging the potential of a spirit chi professional. As such, creation masters didn't just create hope for evolution, but they also created hope for rescue. The revival soil was a supporting ingredient that Lin Yuan was planning to use to nurture and enhance the jasmine lily's quality to legend when it was bronze grade. Such ingredients were extremely hard to find, and it required planning right now. The violent-tempered woman desperately thanked Lin Yuan upon hearing his request. He had given the most compassionate price by requesting for a bag of revival soil. Had she looked for another Class 2 creation master and offered this price, they would not even let her step through their door. Lin Yuan offered this price because he could effortlessly heal the phase-damaged root. It was even easier than to increase the phase quality. Spiritual ingredients like the revival soil had the same status as bronze usnias and were extremely hard to find. Before this, Lin Yuan had already asked if Zhou Jiasen had any revival soil, and unfortunately, she didn't. Hence, Lin Yuan wanted to see if this violent-tempered woman could obtain it. It would be best if she could. If she couldn't obtain it, Lin Yuan would change the price to radiance dollars and wouldn't leave them for dead. The violent-tempered woman gritted her teeth and guaranteed that she would obtain a bag of revival soil. She then repeatedly thanked Lin Yuan, making him feel a little embarrassed. Suddenly, Lin Yuan thought that he could add the service of healing phase damaged roots within his private custom jobs. It would definitely allow him to receive plenty of rare ingredients that no amount of radiance dollars could buy. While thinking like this, Lin Yuan let out a sigh. I am not just lacking radiance dollars. I also lack all sorts of rare ingredients. For the jasmine lily's quality to reach legend, he would need a portion of revival soil, 2 mahogany tree cores, and 1 L of grasswood fountain water. Presently, it could be considered that he had obtained the revival soil. The grasswood fountain water was something that could be bought with a huge amount of radiance dollars. However, Lin Yuan was still witless on how to obtain the 2 mahogany tree cores. The mahogany tree cores were treasures that were qualified to enter the rare lifeform pavilion. It seems like my grand plan of earning money is still far from enough. When the violent-tempered woman walked out of Lin Yuan's store, she noticed that the short and fat Buddhism-inclined person who had angered her was standing at the entrance of the store. The violent-tempered woman immediately wiped off the tears on her face. The short Buddhism-inclined fatty had obviously heard the conversation in the store and wanted to console the violent-tempered woman. Buddha said. When the violent-tempered woman heard the words, Buddha said, she gave a glare and yelled, Buddha said that all things have consequences, and your retribution is me. Once Lin Yuan's peace and quiet returned, he sent the message to stream in the cloud on the star web. Deep Mountain Elder Lin. The 5 elite/epic web-spraying spiders are in the store now. Come over and take a look. Stream in the cloud. What? Uncle, you have already obtained 5 elite/epic web-spraying spiders so quickly? You aren't cheating me, right? Deep Mountain Elder Lin. You are so clever? Who would dare to cheat you? Hurry up and come over so that I can deliver the goods to you. Lin Yuan urgently needed to sell the 5 elite/epic web-spraying spiders for 10 radiance dollars. Once he received the money, he would then have the capital to nurture elite spirit-siphon goldfish. Otherwise, Lin Yuan's current wealth wasn't enough to even purchase one normal spirit-siphon goldfish, let alone nurturing anything. Stream in the cloud. I understand, uncle. I will be there right away. Stream in the cloud quickly arrived at Lin Yuan's store, and when she saw the 5 elite/epic web-spraying spiders, she clicked her tongue in amazement and said, I didn't think that you would actually be so fast. I am uber lucky, and I will definitely be able to produce the transparent spider web from these 5 web-spraying spiders. Hurry up and deliver them to me. Previously, it was Lin Yuan who had been anxious. However, he didn't expect Stream in the Cloud to be even more anxious than him after seeing the web-spraying spiders. She was already asking him to expedite the delivery. Chapter 43. Make itself better for consumption. Lin Yuan suddenly chuckled upon seeing Stream in the Cloud's excited expression and her shaking bumblebee hat. Naturally, Lin Yuan's chuckle infuriated Stream in the Cloud. You are not allowed to laugh at this young lady's hair. I didn't want to be injured by the ghost shadow-bristled spider either. As she spoke, Stream in the Cloud took off her bumblebee hat and pointed at her head. Take a closer look at my hair. They are about to grow out fully. Lin Yuan felt that Stream in the Cloud wasn't really a smart person. After logging out of the star web, Lin Yuan immediately contacted Anang to make a delivery. Just like the last time, Anang arrived quickly and helped Lin Yuan to store the 5 elite/epic web-spraying spiders into the spirit storage boxes. Lin Yuan praised Anang for her quick and efficient work. Your previous delivery of goods was amazing. You delivered everything within 2 hours. I shall give you a like. Lin Yuan knew that newcomers would always need some encouragement. It might be a simple statement of encouragement or very ordinary words, but it would subconsciously bring joy and delight for the other person. As expected, Anang's face immediately revealed a shy smile, but it was glowing with vigor and high spirits. Thank you, Mr. Lin. I will continue to work hard. For the past few days, Lin Yuan had been playing the game of rolling a snowball. The Spirit Lock Spatial Zone Spirit Pool was nurturing batches of Spirit Siphon goldfish, and simultaneously Lin Yuan started to put elite Spirit Siphon goldfish on the Star Web store for sale. Lin Yuan did think about setting a purchase limit and for each individual who visited the store to only purchase 1 Spirit Siphon goldfish. However, after deep contemplation, Lin Yuan rejected the idea. The price he set for the Spirit Siphon goldfish wasn't exactly low, and it was a realistic market price. Due to the same subspecies of butterfly telescope, Lin Yuan actually set the price slightly higher than the market price. Things that were rare would be expensive. Elite Spirit Siphon goldfish were rare feys, and a store would seldom sell them. It was needless to say about the butterfly telescope, a subspecies that had the best appearance among the elite Spirit Siphon goldfish. Therefore, whenever Spirit Siphon goldfish appeared in his store, they would be immediately snatched up. Lin Yuan was thinking to leave it be since he wasn't making a loss. At the same time, such a selling method would actually increase the buyer's competitive spirit. Lin Yuan had purchased another 30 pots of usnias. This time, he wasn't going to sell them after evolving them to elite grade. He was going to evolve the usnias all the way to bronze grade. It had to be known that the evolution path of bronze usnias was truly bizarre. All other feys would enhance their survival or combat capabilities, but the usnia would think of all methods to make itself better for consumption. It was no wonder they were known as herbivorous feys super energy food. This effort for trying to make itself better for consumption was truly worthy for all production-type feys to study from. As a production-type fey, the usnia was definitely very successful. If it awakened the exclusive skill thick fibers at bronze grade, it would increase the digestion speed for herbivorous feys. It allowed the herbivorous feys to absorb the energy from the usnias quickly and increase consumption speed. It would certainly be subtly increasing the speed of evolution. The exclusive skill grayish-green leaves might make the usnia's appearance unpleasant, but it would actually increase chlorophyll's content in the leaves. The chlorophyll increase subsequently increased the usnia vine's nutritional value. All of the Usnia's exclusive skills were basically to make itself better for consumption or how to grow more vines to increase the vine production. In an exaggerated way, it felt as if the Usnias were telling all living things, "I am a food producer, and I am delicious. As such, you all have to take care of me and treat me well. Nurture me meticulously." When Lin Yuan evolved Usnias, he didn't really pay attention to the Usnia's quality as he would be concentrated on making the Usnias break through to bronze grade. When an elite Usnia broke through to bronze grade, it felt as though Mother Nature had been meticulously caring for it for more than 10 years. The leaves would grow by over twice in size, the vines would be longer, and the closer to the tip of the vine, the bigger the leaves. The leaves at the top portion would be especially fresh and tender as they didn't have time to grow into new leaves, making them particularly soft. Lin Yuan held the leaves at the bottom portion and immediately felt that the weight of the leaves was rather heavy. The vines that suspended down wouldn't be as greenish as before and would have a layer of wood-like shell. After using strength to break the outer shell, it would immediately ooze out with a richer and more nutritious sap. Lin Yuan always felt a magnificent scale of life evolution whenever he observed a fey transforming through evolution. Lin Yuan looked at the bronze Usnia and asked Genius, "Genius, if you had a choice, would you choose to evolve to become more delicious to escape danger?" Genius purred and looked at Lin Yuan with a confused expression. Before it was going to recite the information on the Usnia's evolution it had memorized from the books, Lin Yuan added, "If it were me, I would evolve myself and make myself nastier, as nasty as possible." Genius turned its head to the side and looked at the handsome young man doubtfully. "Am I too smart? Causing me to look at Yuan and still feel that Yuan isn't very clever?" As Genius was deep in thoughts, it was unaware that Chimey, which thought it was the smartest one, was singing with delight. Chimey watched as tens of thousands of fans appeared in its streaming room after just a few days, and it felt as though it was only its path to the pinnacle of bird life. The screen was constantly flooded with the words, "Sparrow voice lowly goddess." After being busy for the past few days, Lin Yuan felt like going out for a walk by himself. "In my previous life, I couldn't even stay in the house for a day. Why am I becoming more like a nerd in this life?" After waking around the alleys twice, Lin Yuan decided to purchase a new set of clothes in the mall. He then sat in a restaurant in the mall and ordered a set meal. The set meal consisted of red braised meat, barbecued fish pieces, and a portion of rice. For a meat lover like Lin Yuan, vegetables had never been in his range of choices. After taking a bite of the red braised meat and the barbecued fish, Lin Yuan felt that the set meal here wasn't as nice as Uncle Li's cooking. "I wonder how the treatment for Uncle Li's leg is? How long will Auntie Zhang and Uncle Li go for this time? Last year, it seemed like they were gone for 3 months before returning." The mall was playing the news. Most of the news outlets were reporting about the duels in the Starweb's celestial stairway and some of the incidents in the real world. Lin Yuan listened to the news while eating his set meal. He felt as though he had broken free from the busy days and was enjoying the rare serenity. This contented sensation made Lin Yuan feel very comfortable. It was also this contented sensation that wiped out the fatigue that had accumulated from days of endless work. However, all of a sudden, a news report made Lin Yuan's hand freeze. Chapter 44, Spirit Guards. As the news was playing, the large screen in the mall also displayed a video with diagrams that corresponded with the broadcast. The Radiance Federation's Creation Master Association will be conducting a change for the Creation Master exam. Anyone who can complete the Class 1 Creation Master exam within 2 hours will be exempted from the exams for 3 lifestyle class occupations. They will be able to immediately enter the Class 2 Creation Master exam. The current measures have yet to be fully generalized, and it will only be conducted under the supervision of Lordress Ling Xiao in Redbud City. The rest of the regions will be implemented with the measures concurrently. Although this was totally outside of Lin Yuan's expectation, it was certainly great news for him. Previously, I was only planning to become a Class 1 Creation Master. If I am able to complete the exam to become a Class 1 Creation Master within 2 hours, can I directly promote and become a Class 2 Creation Master? For the 3 lifestyle class occupations, be it the Scholar, Fey Observer, or Spiritual Ingredient Analyst, the knowledge content for Class 2 was entirely different from Class 1 content. Even with Genius' help, Lin Yuan would need to spend a huge effort and a lot of time to prepare. Presently, there was an opportunity to be exempted from taking the promotion exams for those 3 lifestyle class occupations and taking a shortcut to becoming a Class 2 creation master. No matter what, Lin Yuan was going to strive for it. Before Lin Yuan could think more into it, another news report, which Lin Yuan wouldn't normally care about, made him frown. Recently, investigations from the Federation states that the dimensional rifts will be entering the active period in half a year. During the active period, the dimensional rift will erupt with alien beast waves. Therefore, the Radiance Federation will be entering a war preparation state from now on. We advise the Federation citizens to also make preparations in advance and do not panic. The Federation will be mobilizing spirit guards during the active period to assist defending against the alien beast waves. Ever since Lin Yuan had arrived in this world, his sentience had been intact and clear. Even when he had an infant, his thoughts weren't like an infant's. Thus, he remembered everything that had happened from his infancy and onward. Active period of dimensional rift were words that stung Lin Yuan deep inside. As for the reason they stung, Lin Yuan had lost his parents of this life in such an incident, and he had to struggle to survive with his younger sister. Lin Yuan clenched his hands tightly when he saw the crest that suddenly appeared on the mall's large screen. He had seen these crests before, and 2 of them were sitting inside his little store. These were the rare few remnants his parents had left behind. It was only now that Lin Yuan realized they were the spirit guard's insignia. Lin Yuan suddenly felt rather regretful as he truly knew too little about this world. He had only logged into the star web recently too. If he had tried to understand more of this world and that his parents' deaths were inevitable, he may also have found out how they had perished. Lin Yuan's thoughts returned back to that rainy and pitch-black night. A dimensional rift had appeared at the Xia region's outskirts, and countless alien beasts rushed out of it. The dimensional rift had opened up without any prior signs. At that time, his parents, who looked just like ordinary people, immediately sprinted toward the direction of the dimensional rift and they never returned afterward. After eating his meal, Lin Yuan carried his heavy thoughts and returned home. He logged into the star web and carefully checked the information on the dimensional rift that had erupted 10 years ago, as well as on the spirit guards. Fortunately, the star web had records on the dimensional rift that had opened up in the Xia region's outskirts. It was a subterranean dimensional rift, and a massive number of subterranean lifeforms invaded the Xia region. In addition, there were a Class 4 and a Class 5 alien beast among them. Class 4 alien beasts were equivalent to Platinum phase, while Class 5 alien beasts were equivalent to Diamond phase. Lin Yuan had already witnessed a platinum-flowing flame giant bear's prowess, so it was imaginable how much more destructive power a Diamond Fae possessed. Lin Yuan read until the end. The article clearly stated the Spirit Guard members that had successfully defended the Xia region. They had also wiped out subterranean dimensional rift's beast waves and sealed up the rift. At that moment, Lin Yuan read another crucial point that caused his irises to contract. The Class 4 alien beast that had appeared from the subterranean dimensional rift was the marsh dragon Muska. As for the Class 5 alien beast that hadn't appeared at the beginning of the beast wave, it was stated to be the bone-rotting filarial worm. Lin Yuan immediately recalled Uncle Li's leg injury. Back when he had used True Data to check on Uncle Li's leg injury, it stated that it was inflicted with bone gangrene. The bone-rotting filarial worm would only use bone gangrene when it was going to sacrifice itself to take its enemy with it. One could imagine how terrifying a Class 5 alien beast sacrificial attack would be. After pondering for some time, Lin Yuan suddenly pinpointed some clues and realized something. From the looks of the situation, his parents should be members of the Spirit Guards. Lin Yuan felt his heart getting stuffy and urgently wished for Auntie Zhang and Uncle Li to return quickly. He wanted to ask what exactly had happened. Lin Yuan lay on the table for a long time before checking the information on the Spirit Guards carefully. He knew that this world was humongous. There were famous mountains, long rivers, massive lakes, and raging seas. Mountains and forests stretched across the lands. To the south of the Federation was the magma zone, to the north was the icebound polar region, to the west was the desolate desert, and to the east was the mud wetlands. In this massive world were countless feys, and naturally, There were good and bad ones. The Radiance Federation had a simple method to determine if the feys were good or bad. Those that were friendly toward humans and didn't destroy nature were good, while those that attacked humans and destroyed the environment were bad. The spirit guards were individuals that protected the Radiance Federation in all parts of the world and dealt with feys. They would eradicate bad-natured feys below platinum grade lighting fast and make thorough preparation to deal with those above platinum grade. After reading about the spirit guards and understanding how they contributed to the Radiance Federation with their strength, Lin Yuan felt he had a deeper understanding of his parents. In his eyes, his ordinary-looking parents were actually the unnamed heroes of this world. Spirit guards. Lin Yuan spoke of the words silently before returning to his room. Then he took something out of the nightstand. It was a large box that contained 2 smaller red boxes. Lin Yuan's eyes felt sore when he opened and looked at the 2 small red boxes. They contained all the milk teeth that he and Chu Xi had dropped when they were young. Their parents had carefully collected them and stored them in the boxes. Their parents had told them they would bury the teeth when Lin Yuan and Chu Xi were 10 years old in order to live a comfortable life. Unfortunately, after that night, they could no longer bury all the meticulously collected teeth in the soil. Lin Yuan carefully picked up the 2 crests by the side of the boxes. While holding the 2 crests, they felt surprisingly light, but they somehow suppressed Lin Yuan's strength and made his hands shake. At that moment, Lin Yuan looked through the window and noticed that the lights of the house opposite his store had suddenly lit up. At the same time, someone knocked on the door of his little store. Despite the case, Lin Yuan knew that the person knocking on the door wasn't Auntie Zhang. If it was Auntie Zhang, he would probably have heard her unique and friendly voice from far away. Who else could it be that is knocking at this time? Chapter 45 Source Seed. The knocking sound constantly echoed. It had a steady rhythm that wasn't too gentle nor too harsh. However, Lin Yuan's heart was in disarray. It wasn't Auntie Zhang or Uncle Li that had lit up their house's lights. At the same time, someone was knocking on his door. Although Radiance Federation's public security might be great and Lin Yuan had never heard of any cruel incidents, he still hid a razor-sharp knife, the one that he would use to cut off the usnea vines, in his sleeve. He also called out to Chimey softly and asked it to stand on his shoulder. He then walked toward the entrance and prepared to open the door. Before opening the door, Lin Yuan said softly, "Chimey, when I open the door later, and if I step back, it doesn't matter what is at the entrance. You just have to execute turbulence and sound thrust at the door." Upon receiving Lin Yuan's command, Chimey became vigilant. It looked as though it was preparing to activate the attack as soon as Lin Yuan moved. There were cases of people knocking on Lin Yuan's door in the night, but it was unknown why he felt particularly nervous on this night. He finally learned about his parents' identities, and Auntie Zhang's house was lit up on the same day. All of these coincidences made Lin Yuan's senses abnormally sensitive. The knocking sound suddenly changed. Previously, it was a rhythmic sound that was neither gentle nor harsh. The knocking sound was slightly heavier now, and it stopped after 2 knock. Lin Yuan frowned as he noticed that there wasn't just one person outside the door. There were at least 2 individuals. After opening the door, Lin Yuan spotted a man and a woman standing around 1 meter away from the door. The man looked like he was slightly over 30, while the woman looked a little younger. The man noticed Lin Yuan's tensed hand, which was gripping the hidden knife tightly in his sleeve. The woman's expression didn't change, but the 30-year-old man chuckled and said, "Young man, don't be nervous. I just want to ask about the name of your parents." The 30-year-old man asked again, "Are your mother and father Chu Yan and Lin Jian?" Lin Yuan took a deep look at the man and the woman before nodding and replying, "Yes. May I ask what is the matter?" When they heard his answer, Lin Yuan felt that the duo was looking at him differently. Their gaze became gentler and more amiable. The silent woman handed a letter to Lin Yuan. "Your Auntie Zhang wrote this letter," she said. "Read the letter first. After you finish, there is something else for you," she added. Lin Yuan opened the letter, and 2 things fell out. One of them was a piece of cloth. Lin Yuan opened up the cloth and felt that it was rather dirty. It was stained with grayish-black dirt, and there were actually 2 red-colored and rather ugly smiley faces. Lin Yuan didn't know what to do with it, so he put it down and proceeded with reading the letter. Soon, Lin Yuan's eyes turned red, and a bean-sized tear dropped on the letter, mottling the ink on the paper. 1 drop, 2 drops, 3 drops. Lin Yuan could no longer see the letter's content clearly. After his parents' death, Lin Yuan had never cried as he must stay strong to support the store and Chu Si's hope. But now, thousands of emotions surged into his heart as the peaceful bliss of his childhood floated in front of his eyes. The commandment that stated a man's tears shouldn't drop so easily had been broken. Lin Yuan kept the letter and used his hands to wipe his eyes. Now that Lin Yuan was looking at that strange cloth, he felt that it was the warmest thing in this world. During the alien beast wave, his young parents had been severely injured, and at the crucial moment, they had torn off a piece of cloth and drawn 2 smiley faces with their fresh blood before death. It was unknown what the smiley faces signified. Nonetheless, Lin Yuan looked at the smiley faces and could imagine his parents' faces, which would always be smiling no matter what. The smiling faces might be expectations, concern, or an instinctive action that was carried out subconsciously. Lin Yuan solemnly folded the cloth and put it close to him. He then said to the duo that had been waiting silently for him to read the letter, "Thank you." The man immediately got closer and patted Lin Yuan's shoulder. "What is there to thank? Person of your age can just call me Uncle Dong. Later on, I will leave behind my contact information. If you have any issues, you just have to look for me." Uncle Dong was a chatterbox and pulled Lin Yuan closer before starting to inquire about his life. In regards to this sudden concern, Lin Yuan rubbed the back of his head and felt a little exhausted when dealing with it. All of a sudden, the woman coughed lightly, and Uncle Dong immediately stopped talking. He then turned around in embarrassment. "Lin Yuan, this is a gift from your Uncle Li." Lin Yuan received the box and thanked her. The woman immediately shook her hand and said gently, "Just call me Auntie Sue." Lin Yuan nodded and greeted her appropriately. At that moment, Uncle Dong was so shocked that his jaws nearly dropped. "Old Sue, I didn't think that you were a person with feelings," he exclaimed. Before he could finish, he received a cold glare and didn't dare to continue speaking. When Auntie Sue noticed that Lin Yuan was going to keep the box, she said, "Open the box now and take a look inside. I will tell you what it is. It is something very precious." Lin Yuan responded by opening the box and saw a sphere, which was the size of a big toe, embedded in the center of the box. Lin Yuan picked up the sphere and took a closer look but wasn't able to identify it. However, from its appearance, it looked like a dried-up plant seed. It was exchanged for the merits of your father, mother, Auntie Zhang, and Uncle Li. It is a source seed. Lin Yuan felt a lashing pain in his heart first before a trace of warmth replaced it. "Auntie Sue, what is a source seed?" he asked. Auntie Sue didn't explain immediately. Instead, she asked Lin Yuan, "Do you know how dimensional rifts are sealed?" Lin Yuan shook his head. A dimensional rift may produce an alien beast wave, but it is also a treasure trove. This source seed was extracted from a Class 2-dimensional rift. The opening of a dimensional rift produces source-type items. If one extracts the source seed, the dimensional rift will lose its ability to produce source-type items and close. There are all sorts of source-type items, and the source seed in your hand is one of them. Lin Yuan observed the source seed but couldn't find anything special. It looked just like a piece of hardened lump that was dark green in color. This source seed is very suitable for you. You cannot sense spirit chi and have weak spiritual energy, so you cannot form contracts with feys. This source seed only requires fresh blood to nurture it. In other words, it can form contracts with humans without the need for spirit chi and spiritual energy. Finally, Lin Yuan learned about the source seed's function. Chapter 46. A Pack of Wolves Hunting. Su Jin explained further upon seeing that Lin Yuan understood. The source seed's evolution is different from regular feys. It is equivalent to a seed that you can mold as you wish. By feeding it, nurturing it, and guiding it, you can be certain of the source seed's ability and evolution direction. I advise you to nurture the source seed into a healing-type fey, as it will be useful for your condition. Lin Yuan had a good grasp of the source seed's function now. Simply put, this source seed was like an empty canvas. The source seed's owner could create willfully on the canvas and decide the source seed's evolution form, type, and ability. Lin Yuan wasn't planning to nurture the source seed into a healing type fey. On the contrary, he was planning to nurture it into a pure combat class plant type fey. That way, he would be able to protect himself at any time and place. In terms of combat, Lin Yuan had this insistence that he had to possess combat capabilities no matter what. Otherwise, if he became a pure healer, he wouldn't be confident in protecting his life. Su Jin and Dong Hai gave Lin Yuan their contact information and told Lin Yuan to call them if there was any problem. Lin Yuan nodded in agreement out of courtesy. Based on Lin Yuan's personality, he would never seek help from others unless it was absolutely necessary. However, their kind intentions were something that Lin Yuan would remember in his heart. Auntie Su then took out another box and handed it to Lin Yuan. "This is my personal gift." Lin Yuan opened it and saw that it was filled with radiance dollars. It was unknown how many there were in the stack, but it was at least 100. Before Lin Yuan could say anything, Uncle Dong spoke unhappily. "Hey, Su Jin, didn't we say we will give it together? Why did you give it first without telling me?" He walked in front of Lin Yuan and took out a box smilingly. "Little Yuan, I also have a gift for you. Be it nurturing the source seed or supporting your younger sister at school, money is needed. Don't you save on it. Your Auntie Su and I will be giving you radiance dollars every now and then." He then stuffed the box into Lin Yuan's hand. Lin Yuan received it at first before he seriously latched the two boxes and returned them to Su Jin and Dong Hai. "Auntie Su, Uncle Dong, I cannot accept the money." Lin Yuan didn't explain much and just stood still with a smile. His eyes were filled with determination and sincerity. Dong Hai got anxious in response and tried to persuade him. "Little Yuan, keep them, be good. I feel that I cannot accept them." "I don't need you to feel. I just need me to feel it is okay." Lin Yuan suddenly didn't know what to say. Why did this uncle suddenly become so slippery? 1. Oil alert. As Lin Yuan was speaking, Su Jin had been looking at his eyes. Su Jin was a member of the spirit guards that had seen life and death. She suddenly felt that this youth's eyes were actually clear, sincere, and genuine. From these eyes, she understood that no matter what they said today, Lin Yuan wouldn't accept the money. "Dong Hai, enough. It is fine if little Yuan doesn't want it." She then took back to the two boxes from Lin Yuan. She kept one box to herself and tossed the other box to Dong Hai. She didn't forget to say to Dong Hai, "Don't speak another word tonight." Dong Hai felt wronged and closed his mouth in embarrassment. Lin Yuan realized that Dong Hai's temperament became very straightforward and wasn't as slippery as before. It seems like Auntie Su is an expert in eliminating oil. Su Jin suddenly changed the topic and said to Lin Yuan, "This time, a Class 1-dimensional rift appeared in Xia region. It is connected with an insect world. As for now, there are still numerous alien insects in the rift's vicinity. I can bring you along to see a spirit guard's work. Do you wish to go?" Lin Yuan immediately agreed and said firmly, "Let's go." Dimensional rift, insect world, all these were things that Lin Yuan had never come in contact with before. However, it was inevitable to encounter these things in this world, so now that there was a chance, Lin Yuan naturally wanted to go. Moreover, Lin Yuan wanted to understand more about the spirit guard's work. It would also allow him to understand his parents' experiences as they had also been members of the spirit guards. Perhaps there would be a day when Lin Yuan would venture into dimensional rifts alone. There wasn't a need to talk about the distant future. According to the news, the dimensional rifts would become active in another half a year, and alien beast waves would start to surge out from the dimensional rifts. By then, it would be something that he had to face. Now that someone was offering to let him understand things in advance, it was truly a great chance. Su Jin looked at Lin Yuan with approval and said to Dong Hai, "Later on, you will clear the alien insects. I will protect little Yuan." Dong Hai's eyes immediately lit up, and he quickly nodded. Instead of acting as a bodyguard, fighting and clearing the alien insects was more fitting to Dong Hai's style. Su Jin circulated her spiritual energy and summoned her fey. A snow-white avian with a wingspan of 10 meters and thick and soft feathers, which were pure white, appeared in the air. The talons under the body had a dazzling metallic luster. The avian's head was slightly different from regular birds. Regular birds had a smaller head, but Su Jin's contracted feys head was close to a third of the body. Lin Yuan used true data to check on this feys information. Fey name: silk feather snowy owl. Fey species: conceal feather genus/snowy owl subspecies. Fey grade: platinum, 8 out of 10. Fey type: chi/ice. Fey quality: flawless. Abilities: feather assault. Use the wings to activate an extremely fast flap. At the same time, shoot out razor-sharp side feathers from the wings. Feather shield. Use the body's thick feathers to put on a damage defense. Snow feather thrust. When shooting out cold attribute feathers, the feathers will condense ice and execute a scattering attack. Snow walk. The extremely cold air currents form a snow avalanche on the surface of the ground to execute a snowstorm and ice-burying attack. Protection of snow. Summon the power of extreme cold and condense hard ice to protect multiple targets and also to increase the resistance toward ice and snow. Exclusive skill: rapid cold. Increase affinity with ice and frost, allowing all ice-type abilities to have the rapid cold effect. The silk feather snowy owl was a flying and defense-type fey. But just by looking at the silk feather snowy owl's talons, Lin Yuan knew that its attack power would definitely be extraordinary. After reaching platinum grade, without the abilities and skill, the fey's physical body would already possess powerful damage output. Su Jin's silk feather snowy owl's exclusive skill and nurture method was leaning toward offense. It allowed this defense-type fey to have extraordinary defense and also outstanding offensive power. When the silk feather snowy owl appeared, Chimey was frightened, and Lin Yuan quickly comforted it. After comforting Chimey, Lin Yuan left Chimey at home. Lin Yuan didn't want to bring along Genius and Chimey as it wouldn't just be dangerous for them. At the same time, their extraordinary traits might be detected by Su Jin and Dong Hai. It wasn't something that Lin Yuan wanted. When Chimey evolved to bronze grade, it wouldn't matter if Chimey evolved into the ancestry line or had a spiritual variation. Its looks would definitely undergo an extreme change. By then, people would no longer treat it as a sound bird. Under Su Jin's instructions, Lin Yuan climbed at the silk feather snowy owl's back. This was the first time Lin Yuan was observing a platinum fey from such a close distance, and it was also his first time riding on a platinum flying fey. He had to admit that the silk feather snowy owl was so cozy that it was absurd. When stepping on the silk feather snowy owl's back, Lin Yuan felt he was stepping on a bed weaved with goose feathers. It was an absolute enjoyment. When the silk feather snowy owl was flying in the sky, it was just like a floating cloud. In just a short moment, it flew out of the Xia region and arrived at the vicinity of the dimensional rift. As soon as Lin Yuan got off the silk feather snowy owl's back, he could hear faint sounds from all sorts of alien insects on this black night. It felt just like the insatiable butcher that was hidden in the dark. At that moment, a part of uniformed personnel approached them. Su Jin handed her credentials and her crest. The uniformed personnel immediately saluted and left to patrol other places. By looking at the outfit of these people, Lin Yuan immediately recognized them as the Redbud City's famous Redbud Guards. It was said that each Redbud Guard possessed a gold fey, and they were considered the core strength of the Redbud City. He didn't expect so many Redbud Guards to be in the vicinity of the Class 1 dimensional rift. As of now, Lin Yuan already encountered more than 3 platoons. Seeing Lin Yuan's confused expression, Su Jin patiently explained, "The Class 1 dimensional rift is connected to an insect world. It might only be Class 1, but the danger level isn't inferior to a Class 2 dimensional rift. The alien insects have strong reproductive abilities and can also evolve by eating their enemies. Their growth rate is extremely fast, so it is very hard to deal with them." All of a sudden, Lin Yuan heard a frail sound from behind, and he immediately saw Dong Hai brandishing his fist at the back. An alien insect collapsed on the ground due to Dong Hai's fist, and the poisonous fluid in its body was spraying out. It was obvious that it wouldn't be able to survive. Dong Hai was extremely stern and serious as he informed, We are almost reaching the dimensional rift. By then, little Yuan will be able to see exactly how dangerous this dimensional rift is. Soon enough, Lin Yuan looked at the front and could see a black and red crack that stretched across nearly half the place. Inside the crack, he was able to vaguely see a wonderful world. From time to time, there would be some alien insects falling out of the crack. It was such a shocking sight that caused Lin Yuan's irises to contract. From the looks of it, around 100 alien insects would be falling out of the dimensional rift at every moment. It was unending and felt as though they were being forced out. At that moment, Dong Hai shouted to the front, "Spirit Guard Dong Hai is requesting to lift the restriction on the dimensional rift to conduct a fundamental clean-up." An individual flew over immediately after Dong Hai's statement. After checking the credentials, the person started to give orders to the Redbud guards that were guarding the dimensional rift's vicinity. Subsequently, Lin Yuan noticed a layer of faint obstruction under the dimensional rift had suddenly vanished. The dimensional rift felt as though it had ruptured, and all sorts of alien insects were rapidly gushing out. Su Jin stayed beside Lin Yuan and was constantly describing and explaining the knowledge in regards to the dimensional rift. "Little Yuan, there might be numerous alien insects bursting out of the dimensional rift, but most of these alien insects are elite grade, and only the minority are bronze grade. There are basically just a few silver grade." Lin Yuan said with shock, "Even if that is the case, it will also take a long time to clean up, right?" Lin Yuan had never witnessed such situations, and it was even more shocking than those scenes in sci-fi films. Lin Yuan could hear Dong Hai speaking. "Little Yuan, I alone am enough to handle this small situation." This statement made Lin Yuan feel that Dong Hai was emitting that indescribable aura again, as though he had drunk down big bowls of oil. Dong Hai snapped his fingers, and a platinum fey appeared under his feet. It was a giant azure blue wolf that was emitting a faint purple glow. Dong Hai extended his hands and brandished them as though he was a conductor and yelled out, "Seek and hunt my wolves!" The azure blue giant wolf suddenly flashed, and Lin Yuan realized there were countless wolves that revolved around him. The pack of wolves sprinted at the alien insects and started a hunting spree. Lin Yuan took a glance at the azure blue giant wolf with true data, and his irises contracted. Fey name: Hidden Shadow Dire Wolf. Fey species: Dire Wolf species / Canis genus. Fey grade: Platinum, 10 out of 10. Fey type: Dark. Fey quality: Epic. Abilities: Tear. Use its fangs to tear up the prey and inflict penetrative damage. Claw attack: Use its sharp claws to sweep at the enemy and also rip the target's flesh. Terror howl: Let out a horrifying howl that terrorizes the enemy and lowers the enemy's defense capability. Hidden dark wave: The wolf's mouth emits an extremely destructive dark wave that is lethal within a short range. Shadows of myriad wolf: Possess the energy to produce clones. Produce shadow wolf clones that are weaker than the actual grade. The number of wolf shadows is determined by the energy allocation. Exclusive skill: Energy extraction. During the hunt, rapidly absorb energy from the prey to replenish energy. The hidden shadow dire wolf was nurtured into an utterly superior fey. The exclusive skill and abilities had the perfect combination. The clone wolf pack was able to hunt the alien insect to extract the energy and continue to split into more clones, forming a cycle that was to counter low-grade prey. This hidden shadow dire wolf was truly a killing machine meant to deal with low-grade alien insects. The hidden shadow dire wolf allowed Lin Yuan to have new knowledge on the evolution direction, exclusive skill, and abilities. It was the same as opening the door to a new world. Under the moon, the battle between the wolf pack and the alien insects was like an extremely beautiful flower of massacre that was blooming. However, Lin Yuan shook his head as he watched. Dong Hai, who was like a music conductor, revealed a handsome and charming man's expression. Especially the moment when Dong Hai spread out his arms. Lin Yuan's mind flashed with the words, "A leap of apocalypse?" 2. Immediately after, Lin Yuan noticed an oil field that was as far as the horizon that had suddenly appeared. 1. This is trying to describe a person that likes to brag. 2. This is supposedly taking reference to a League of Legends champion, Fiddlestick's ultimate spell. Chapter 47, red thorn. Under the chilly moonlight, a massacre commenced. Soon, the giant wolf that exuded a purple luster slaughtered all the alien insects. After the massacre, Dong Hai, Su Jin, and Lin Yuan departed, leaving behind a ground filled with insect corpses for the Redbud guards to clean up. At that moment, an unassuming black crow was standing on a tree branch quietly and watching the insect corpses scattered throughout the ground. The crow's eyes betrayed its ruthlessness and viciousness, as well as traces of disdain. After standing quietly for a moment, the black crow flew straight for the dimensional rift with a burst of speed. When Lin Yuan returned, he realized he had obtained another willpower rune. Aren't willpower runes very difficult to obtain? Why does it seem like I am able to obtain them easily? Is it because I am too smart? Lin Yuan ridiculed in his heart. Lin Yuan comprehended this willpower rune while witnessing the alien insects getting slaughtered. The slaughterfest represented destruction, but it brought hope to Xia region's people. Destruction and hope were always contradicting or intersecting with each other. However, in different circumstances, hope and destruction had a different significance. This willpower rune represented hope that was released during the massacre, and it was a true offense-type rune. As for the source seed, Lin Yuan didn't use it immediately after returning. Instead, he spent quite a fair amount of money on the Star Web to purchase source seed-related books. Unfortunately, he realized that all those books were only giving simple introductions. They introduced the source seed as a kind of source-type item but only briefly mentioned its usage. There might be plenty of active dimensional rifts and many dimensional rifts that had been sealed and destroyed, but among all sorts of source-type items, there were only 2 source seeds had ever been obtained. The owner of the other source seed mentioned that 1 drop of fresh blood was enough to form a contract with the source seed. Afterward, they should bury the source seed in energy ores and just wait quietly for it to germinate. Not long after, because the person who had obtained the source seed had only been an ordinary person, he had perished during a calamitous class 3-dimensional rift. As such, the research on source seeds had reached an end. The research result determined that source seeds were considered weaker among the source-type items. Otherwise, no matter how many merits and contributions Lin Yuan's parents, Uncle Li, or Auntie Zhang had wouldn't matter. It would be impossible for them to exchange for the only remaining source seed. After reading all the books on source seeds, Lin Yuan had a greater understanding of his source seed. Concurrently, Lin Yuan also decided to form a contract with the source seed. He took out the wrinkly source seed and observed it, feeling that it was nothing special. While observing the ordinary-looking source seed, Lin Yuan suddenly caught a glimpse of 4 hearts that were boiling with warmth. Lin Yuan made a cut on his finger and squeezed out a drop of fresh blood. The drop landed on the source seed, and he noticed that the seed absorbed it at breakneck speed. At the same time, he realized that the bloodline contract between him and the source seed had already formed. Since the contract was formed, Lin Yuan decided to stop the bleeding. However, before he could do that, another drop of blood fell on the source seed. Just as Lin Yuan was preparing to wipe off the blood, he discovered that the source seed had completely absorbed the drop of blood. Surprisingly, Lin Yuan felt that his connection with the source seed had deepened. Thus, he simply allowed his blood to drip onto the source seed. After 6 drops of blood, Lin Yuan could vaguely feel the source seed's emotional state. It was now emitting a desire for its contractor's blood. Naturally, Lin Yuan that the source seed-related books he had purchased on the Star Web had discrepancies. Logically speaking, the book's authors must have taken reference from the previous contractor's experience of dripping 1 drop of blood on the source seed and the fact that he had sensed that his connection had stopped. Lin Yuan could sense the source seed's desire. Thus, he bit on his hand, opening up the wound, and a surging flow of blood bespattered the source seed, which fearlessly absorbed the blood. After 1 minute of continuous blood loss, and when Lin Yuan felt a spell of dizziness, the source seed finally stopped its wanton absorption. Lin Yuan swiftly used his Jasmine Lily to heal himself. The Jasmine Lily's heal ability might not be able to immediately heal Lin Yuan's wound, but in just a few seconds, the bleeding had stopped. An Elite X Jasmine Lily was already considered a full-fledged healing-type fey. Lin Yuan took a closer look at the source seed and noticed that it was gradually shedding off the hard scab on its surface. The layer of hard scab was now soft and dark red in color. The dark red scab was withdrawn inside the source seed, and its front grew out soft sprouts that were around 3 centimeters in height. At that moment, Lin Yuan could clearly feel that the source seed was waiting for his instruction to decide on its evolution direction and form. Lin Yuan had already made a plan regarding the source seed's evolution direction, so he immediately instructed, "You will follow the carnivorous plant's path, and your 2 soft sprouts will grow into a mouth." Lin Yuan would first nurture the source seed into a predator plant and then evolve it toward the other directions. After receiving Lin Yuan's instructions, the source seed's soft sprouts went through a drastic transformation and turned into 2 cylinder-shaped stems that were 40 centimeters in height. The stem's center was like a stomach sac, and when Lin Yuan touched it, it felt like it was hollow. The top of the stems were 2 red-colored multiflora roses. Lin Yuan took a closer look at the flowers. Although they might be like simple multiflora roses, their petals had sharp barbs. The moment the petals were rolled open, a saw-toothed mouth appeared. Lin Yuan never expected that a single command would allow the source seed to evolve a completed predator organ. Truth be told, it seemed like the source seed was as weak as stated in the books. However, Lin Yuan felt that the source seed was exceptionally strong, and it wasn't even at normal grade yet. In addition, Lin Yuan even speculated that a normal offense-type fey, such as the gray furhound, wouldn't be the source seed's match and would become its food source instead. Lin Yuan channeled the spirit qi into the source seed, but it didn't absorb the channeled spirit qi to his surprise. It seemed like the information was correct, and the only method to evolve the source seed was through energy absorption. As a combat class plant, Lin Yuan wasn't going to allow the source seed to be absorbing energy from the soil as the main source of energy. If the plant was too reliant on the soil, it would suffer more restrictions in combat. Currently, the source seed could consume food to increase its energy and allow itself to evolve. As such, it didn't have to rely on its roots to absorb energy. Lin Yuan was planning to make the roots undergo a different transformation. He wouldn't forbid the roots to absorb energy from the soil. He would make the roots less reliant on absorbing energy from the soil and turn it into a method instead. For example, he would allow the source seed to instantly absorb the soil's energy to recuperate its body or enhance the root's defensive ability. Of course, these were all ideas that Lin Yuan had just thought of. As for the exact evolution path, Lin Yuan would make a careful decision after evolving it to bronze grade and choosing its exclusive skill. Lin Yuan looked at the source seed and decided to give it a name. Red Thorn. Chapter 48. Mouth of Relinquish. From now on, Lin Yuan would need to supply food to Red Thorn as he did for Genius and Chimey. Lin Yuan had already come to a decision about Red Thorn food supply. What else could be more suitable than the alien insects as a food source for Red Thorn? The alien insects had hard shells, while their flesh had corrosive properties. If these alien insects were used to feed Red Thorn, they would increase Red Thorn's digestive ability and allow Red Thorn's predator organs to produce a potent corrosive fluid in order to digest them. The alien insects were products of the dimensional rift and insect world. They weren't available in this world. On the star web, the carcasses of alien insects were sold as spiritual ingredients. Lin Yuan immediately went to purchase insect carcasses for Red Thorn to see how many of them it had to digest before reaching normal grade. After entering his star web store, Lin Yuan noticed that plenty of people were waiting inside. There were many new faces, but Lin Yuan didn't feel strange toward their intentions as they were all waiting for him. They probably wanted to order bronze usnias and elite spirit siphon goldfish. These people were actually willing to increase the price to make orders with him, but Lin Yuan rejected all of them without exception. When operating a small store, especially a small phase store on the star web, apart from the selling phase, the store would be accepting private orders. Each private order would be different from the previous one, so the price would be different. However, as far as the store's normal fei were concerned, Lin Yuan chose to treat everyone fairly. Lin Yuan hadn't known how to operate a store in his previous life. He had accumulated all the knowledge for operating a store in this life by watching how his parents acted. Enthusiasm and perseverance were required when opening a store. Lin Yuan had already inherited the enthusiasm and perseverance traits and wouldn't change so easily. Owner, I wish to order 30 pots of bronze usnias at a price higher than the market price. Owner, I wish to order 100 elite spirit siphon goldfish from you. I wonder if we can have a discussion. Lin Yuan was rather tempted after hearing the offers, but he firmly rejected them. When the store brings new merchandise, you are all welcome to snatch them. After sending these people away with a smile, Lin Yuan sighed. Due to the increase in transactions on the Star Web, there would always be new customers, and the usefulness of the AI robot would start to decrease. Lin Yuan really wanted to hire a staff member for his Star Web store. After the passage of a dozen days or so, Lin Yuan's store was no longer unknown as in the beginning. He had constantly been selling feys that were rarely available on the Star Web. As such, his store had been categorized by the Star Web as a premium goods store. Naturally, since his store carried the premium goods store title, it received yet another boost in popularity. Nonetheless, with more people visiting due to its reputation, Lin Yuan's supply of goods was not enough for the demand. Many Star Web stores were trying to think of methods to sell their goods, but Lin Yuan's store would only have available stock for 10 minutes before selling out. During this period of time, the bronze usnias and elite spirit siphon goldfish had brought Lin Yuan a profit of 400 radiance dollars. In other words, Lin Yuan had already accumulated enough money to purchase 3 drops of gold-grade dragon blood. There were still a few days before the 27th, and Lin Yuan would definitely be able to earn more radiance dollars during this period of time. He would then have the capital to purchase the great feys that people might miss out on. In Lin Yuan's case, who was urgently trying to increase his strength, no amount of radiance dollars was enough to spend. Lin Yuan only had 1 willpower rune in the past, and he was already under great pressure. He was in a hurry to help his Jasmine Lily increase its quality to legend at bronze grade. From there, he would enhance it into a fantasy breed. Now that he had another willpower rune, Lin Yuan was already thinking of upgrading Red Thorn to become a fantasy breed at bronze grade 2. Red Thorn wasn't a regular fey that Lin Yuan could channel his spirit chi to evolve it and enhance its quality. Red Thorn would require the full support of resources, making it a sweet burden. Just as Lin Yuan was preparing to contact Zhou Jiasin, he saw a message from a friend. He took a glance and couldn't help but lament. Stream in the Cloud is really not an uber-lucky person. She even said she would definitely be able to roll out the transparent spider web. To think about it, how can a person who got bitten by a ghost shadow-bristled spider be uber-lucky? As such, Lin Yuan had to continue preparing 5 more elite X/epic web-spraying spiders for the stream in the cloud. It wasn't a problem for Lin Yuan as he considered an easy task to complete. After replying to the stream in the cloud, Lin Yuan contacted Zhou Jiasin. Deep Mountain Elder Lin, Big Sister Xian, do you have any alien insect carcasses for sale? Zhou Jiasin. I do have low-grade alien insect carcasses and quite the collection at that. Do you need them? If you don't need too many, I can send them to you as a gift. Zhou Jiasin was rather surprised and didn't know why Lin Yuan wanted to purchase alien insect carcasses. Although the alien insect carcasses prices weren't considered low, Zhou Jiasin was willing to gift them because she wanted to build a better relationship with Lin Yuan. This was also considered a method to enhance the relationship with customers. Another factor was the recent dimensional rifts opening in various places. The alien insect carcasses prices had plummeted. Since the alien insect carcasses prices had declined, Zhou Jiasin didn't mind giving away 3 or 4 of them. Deep Mountain Elder Lin, Big Sister Xian, there is no need for the gift. I will need a huge quantity of alien insect carcasses in the future. This time I will need 100. I will also need another 10,000 caddies of inferior energy ores, half a caddy of butterfly shells, 40 normal spirit siphon goldfish, and 5 elite X/flawless web-spraying spiders. Lin Yuan decided to just purchase everything from Zhou Jiasin's store. After purchasing so many spiritual ingredients and feys from Zhou Jiasin's store, he didn't have to worry about the quality. Zhou Jiasin didn't expect Lin Yuan to purchase so many goods in one go. She found the constant increase of Lin Yuan's purchasing power truly delightful. At the same time, she already treated Lin Yuan as her VIP customer and would open up all spiritual ingredients and resources from the store to Lin Yuan. As a Class 3 store owner, Zhou Jiasun had plenty of collections. Those precious spiritual ingredients and feys were all resources to build ties with customers. As such, Zhou Jiasun had been cautiously using them. However, Zhou Jiasun was going to be extremely generous in offering her resources to Lin Yuan in the future. Of course, the precondition was that Lin Yuan could afford them. After logging out of the star web, Lin Yuan quickly received Zhou Jiasun's goods. The 100 alien insect carcasses were stored in Ostrich Logistics spirit storage boxes, so there wasn't a need to worry they might rot. Lin Yuan tossed the alien insect carcasses to Red Thorn. Red Thorn probed and sensed the alien insect carcasses' taste before the two red flowers opened up and formed a red basin mouth that could fit a basketball. It then gobbled up 2 of the alien insect carcasses. Red Thorn's digestion speed of the alien insect carcasses was surprisingly fast, and it took just 5 to 6 minutes to disintegrate them. Lin Yuan continued to feed Red Thorn until the 80th carcass. When Red Thorn finished digesting the 80th alien insect carcass, it stopped eating. Its body started to shiver violently as it evolved and produced other body structures. At that moment, Lin Yuan checked on Red Thorn's normal grade ability, and his irises shrunk as it was the mouth of Relinquish. Chapter 49, 1000 Questions Beast. Red Thorn's body was shivering with increased intensity. As it shivered, thorns started to grow out of Red Thorn's body. There were around 10 thorns, around 1.5 meters, with sharp spikes covering them. The spikes weren't ordinary spikes as they curved in a reverse direction. If this thorn pierced into the flesh, a slight pull of the vine would rip off the flesh. While looking at Red Thorn's normal grade state, Lin Yuan couldn't help but get amazed by Red Thorn's offensive capability. Red Thorn's evolution felt as though it was meant for combat, but the evolution had yet to complete. At the center of Red Thorn, there was a fruit-shaped part that suddenly grew out. It was light red in color and around 0.5 meter in height. As compared to the 2 digestive organs by the side, the fruit-shaped part was taller and much more robust. The 2 digestive organs that Red Thorn produced previously were gradually integrating with the fruit-shaped part. Red Thorn's evolution stopped here. Lin Yuan checked on Red Thorn's true data. Fey name: Red Thorn, predator plant. Fey species: Rafflesia genus/vine subspecies. Fey grade: normal. Fey type: source. Fey quality: elite. Abilities: mouth of Relinquish. Secrete vigorous digestive fluids with powerful corrosive properties, allowing a faster speed to absorb the energy in the food. Red Thorn looked rather sinister and fearsome right now, however. Lin Yuan paid more attention to the newly grown fruit-shaped part as it was a new organ. This new organ was precisely due to the Red Thorn's normal grade ability, mouth of Relinquish. Red Thorn's digestive organs could only be described as complete before, but they were considered perfect right now. A single command from Lin Yuan had allowed Red Thorn to evolve into a nearly perfect route at the normal grade. The newly grown organ was a digestive smelter. It allowed the digestive organs to dissolve the alien insect carcasses with extreme speed and also secrete large amounts of plant corrosive fluid. The corrosive plant fluid wasn't just able to help with the digestion of food, but the 2 multiflora flowers could also spat it out as an attack. Lin Yuan followed up quickly and continued to feed the alien insect carcasses. He noticed the mouth of Relinquish had opened up multiple crevices that were filled with sharp teeth. Lin Yuan tossed 10 insect carcasses into the mouth of Relinquish, and it merely wriggled a few times before crushing all the insect carcasses. Due to the digestive fluids that were even more powerful than acid, it took just a few minutes to digest everything. Lin Yuan was shocked by Red Thorn's digestion speed. However, he wasn't hesitant and immediately ordered another 3,000 alien insect carcasses from Zhou Jiasun's Star Web store. Lin Yuan was planning to constantly feed Red Thorn and for it to digest the alien insect carcasses to quickly reach elite grade. Apart from listing up the new goods on the Star Web, Lin Yuan would be purchasing resources during this period. At the same time, he helped stream in the cloud to finish the custom orders. For the rest of the time, Lin Yuan had constantly been enhancing the Jasmine Lily, Spirit Siphon Goldfish, Genius, and Chimey. It had to be known that regarding the Spirit Siphon Goldfish, Lin Yuan truly had a love-hate relationship with it. But as his spirit-locked Fey, Lin Yuan didn't have any choice and had to be patient as he increased the spirit siphon goldfish's grade and quality. As for the other spirit siphon goldfish, Lin Yuan didn't have the time to bother with them. However, due to the spirit lock spatial zone's ample spirit chi, the normal spirit siphon goldfish in the spirit pool were all evolving rather quickly. Naturally, evolving the normal spirit siphon goldfish to elite grade brought the main bulk of revenue for Lin Yuan. Days passed by, and Lin Yuan continued to operate purchase with no-loss Fey store. The small financial snowball had been constantly pushed by Lin Yuan and started to accumulate more snow, producing great rewards. At that moment, Chimey and Genius were cuddling with Lin Yuan. Under Lin Yuan's nourishment and channeled spirit chi, they were already elite X/epic phase. When Lin Yuan circulated the spirit chi to break through the limits in Genius and Chimey's bodies, the two of them simultaneously evolved to bronze grade. Genius' body emitted the sound of intense bone formations, and it was meowing and purring as though it was experiencing extreme pain. The evolution to bronze grade was considered a metamorphosis for any Fey, and naturally Genius was no exception. However, as a 100 questions beast, Genius' foundation was much weaker than regular Feys. Therefore, the evolution to bronze grade was even more intense for Genius. In a few short minutes, Genius' fur had been withering and falling off layer by layer and growing new fur layer by layer. When Genius had reached elite grade, it had already been the size of an adult domestic cat. Now that it evolved to bronze grade, Genius actually shrunk by more than 2 times. Genius now had the size that was the same as the time before any evolution. Genius' fur had constantly been transforming, and after a period of time, it finally stopped. Genius' fur was completely white right now, but it wasn't white like the snow, but more like white nephrite that was sparkling and moist-looking. Genius opened its eyes, and Lin Yuan noticed that its eyes were like amber and felt they were absurdly quick-witted. After waking up, Genius looked at its transformation and licked its little paws happily. All of a sudden, Genius looked at its tail and let out an alarmed meow. Lin Yuan looked over and noticed that Genius' tail had transformed from 1 into 3. When Lin Yuan used True Data to check on Genius attributes, he noticed that Genius' name had changed from 100 questions beast to 1,000 questions beast. Genius was still panicking because of its 3 tails. It used its little paw to grasp the tails and shook them back and forth. It made Genius' quick-witted eyes lit up. Since Genius evolved to bronze grade with epic quality, 3 exclusive skills appeared, and Lin Yuan had to make a choice. Lin Yuan carried Genius and discovered that its fur was ridiculously silky and soft. When Genius sensed that it had shrunk in size, it scuttled onto Lin Yuan's shoulder and sat on its favorite spot. Lin Yuan read Genius' 3 exclusive skills and started to ponder. Dust avoidance. All dust will be repelled, and the environment will be free of dust. Tool transformation. Capable of transforming into a tool for the contractor to use. Deepened pain. After attacking the target, it will cause the target to feel pain. Make use of the spiritual energy to decide and increase the pain. The 3 exclusive skills made Lin Yuan frown. Dust avoidance was an exclusive skill that was like a smart vacuum cleaner and was very fitting for a housekeeping beast. If the dust avoidance skill was used in appropriate situations, it could be used to deal with and counter Feys with sandy soil abilities. However, Genius wasn't an offense-type Fey, so the effects in battle would be very limited. Chapter 50. Stream Cloud Azure Bird. Deepened Pain was also an exclusive skill of the same category. It was considered an elite combat class exclusive skill that had horrific lethality in combat. But for Genius, it was obviously useless. Genius' physical body might obtain offensive capabilities as it continued to evolve, but it was unrealistic if Genius had to injure Feys of the same grade. Genius was all in all a housekeeping or domestic Fey. As for the tool transformation skill, Lin Yuan also had a headache. It was a skill that people would either love or hate. Only gamblers would prefer to use tool transformation as entertainment. According to different Fey species, the tool transformation would be slightly different. However, it still couldn't lower the unpredictability of tool transformation. A huge and burly man had once picked the tool transformation skill for his Fey, and the Fey transformed into a colorful and beautiful little handheld fan. The scene had been so beautiful that people couldn't bear watching. A delicate and petite little girl's fey had also awakened tool transformation, and it transformed into a large steel hammer. It had angered the little girl so much that she could only wipe her tears and couldn't even cry out loud. If tool transformation gave out a weapon, it was rather good. But if it was a defense item, it was horrendous. Spirit chi clothes might be expensive now, but it was still possible to purchase them. If a fey transformed into a defense item, it was the same as losing a reliable helper in combat. But if they didn't use the exclusive skill, it was the same as the fey having one less exclusive skill. Furthermore, there were successful cases of tool transformation, and such cases were rather common. Since it was a matter with regards to one's fey, and there was only one chance, who would dare to take the risk? For people whose feys evolved with flawless quality, they didn't have a chance. Now that Lin Yuan had 3 choices, he wasn't really willing to take the risk. However, the 2 other exclusive skills were truly useless for genius, and it wasn't going to help to have them. Finally, Lin Yuan steeled his heart and decided to take the risk. If he made this bet, there was a possibility that a motorcycle might turn into a sports car, and if he failed, the motorcycle would turn into a bicycle at worst. As compared to the 2 other exclusive skills, the difference wasn't that much. Once Lin Yuan chose tool transformation, genius let out a meow, and its body glowed and started to transform. Subsequently, it transformed into a classic white-framed pair of glasses. The glasses had amber-like decorations and looked just like genius. When having a fey with tool transformation, there would certainly be an additional effect for the contractor. After wearing the glasses, Lin Yuan felt that his mind had obtained knowledge that he couldn't understand previously. This knowledge was mostly for primary rank scholar, fey observer, and spiritual ingredient analyst. Lin Yuan immediately understood. It seemed like when he wore the glasses, he could actually share the knowledge that genius had learned. When Lin Yuan moved the glasses, he realized that the glasses had a second form. There was a switch at the back of the ear, which immediately turned the glasses into a white mask with amber patterns. Lin Yuan felt it was refreshing as genius reverted to its original appearance after transforming twice. When genius evolved from 100 questions beast to 1,000 questions beast, it was such a complete transformation that Lin Yuan would never have expected. If genius wasn't able to use tool transformation and turn into a pair of glasses, Lin Yuan felt that it would be rather awkward to bring genius into the exams for the lifestyle class occupations. After checking on genius attributes after evolving to bronze grade, Lin Yuan nodded. Fey name: 1,000 questions beast. Fey species: spirit cat species / intelligent cat species. Fey grade: bronze 1/10. Fey type: spiritual. Fey quality: normal. Abilities: precise memory. When memorizing something, every single detail can be memorized with precision. Knowledge analysis: can conduct a diverse initial analysis of the memory's knowledge. Exclusive skill: tool transformation. Capable of transforming into a tool for the contractor to use. After genius evolution, Chimey had also completed its evolution. The azure blue feathers on Chimey looked to have a layered effect like the different tones of blue in the clear blue sky. Its size didn't have an obvious change, but as compared to before, it looked more exquisite. The cloud patterns that weren't as distinct previously were now very distinct. The cloud patterns were clear, and the color had a metallic luster, just like a blue color from an artwork using the cloisonne. Chimey's fey name was no longer Sound Bird. Instead, it was called Stream Cloud Azure Bird now. As for Chimey's exclusive skill, Lin Yuan was very decisive. Oily feather. The feathers secrete oil and can help to repel damage effectively. Clear sky. After a chirp, the clouds will disperse and clear up the sky. Wind loan. When flying, reduces stamina consumption and borrows the power of air currents effectively. Lin Yuan didn't hesitate after checking the 3 exclusive skills and immediately picked Clear Sky. It was an exclusive skill that Lin Yuan had never heard of. The effects of Clear Sky sounded like a water evasion ability, but if one was to exaggerate it, it was also able to change the weather. Most importantly, after using Clear Sky, Chimey would be facing the sun directly. Would Chimey be able to make use of the exclusive skill, Clear Sky, to comprehend the mysteriousness of the scorching sun? It might allow Chimey to have an opportunity to advance toward a higher bloodline. Lin Yuan checked on Chimey's true data. Fey name: Stream Cloud Azure Bird. Fey species: Corvidi species / Azure Bird species. Fey grade: Bronze 1/10. Fey type: Sound / Chi. Fey quality: Normal. Abilities: Sound thrust. Fire a sharp spike that is formed by sound at a designated target. Turbulence: The flap of the wings emits a consistently fast and random flow of air current. Exclusive skill: Clear Sky. After a chirp, the clouds will disperse and clear up the sky. From the information displayed on true data, Chimey's basic ability had also obtained a slight upgrade. It was now capable of being a combat class Fey. Chimey and Genius evolutions to bronze grade were all toward spiritual variations. Their sizes didn't get bigger, but they became comprehensive. Lin Yuan had also evolved the Jasmine Lily from Elite X/Epic to Bronze/Normal. Among the 3 exclusive skills, Lin Yuan repeatedly considered and finally picked the skill, Recovery Imprint. After picking Recovery Imprint, an imprint that was just like the Jasmine Lily appeared on Lin Yuan's forehead. He could feel that the imprint was constantly storing the healing energy released by the Jasmine Lily. This imprint was just like a lock that would seal all of the healing energy that was constantly released from the Jasmine Lily. When Lin Yuan opened up the lock, all of the accumulated healing energy would be immediately released. The Jasmine Lily's basic ability, Heal, had also changed after reaching bronze grade. It wasn't a single target healing ability anymore. Depending on the spirit chi and the contractor's target, it could heal multiple targets until the contractor's spirit chi was fully exhausted. The change of the ability was also one of the reasons why Lin Yuan had chosen Recovery Imprint as the exclusive skill. When releasing the healing energy accumulated in the Recovery Imprint, Lin Yuan didn't have to exhaust his own spiritual power. As for the Spirit Siphon Goldfish, it was now already Elite 7/Epic. The Spirit Siphon Goldfish's evolution speed had forcefully imbued Lin Yuan with patience. In addition, Lin Yuan still required the gold-grade dragon blood to incite the Spirit Siphon Goldfish's ancestry bloodline, so he wasn't in a hurry. Lin Yuan's strength had undergone a qualitative leap. Red Thorn was still rapidly digesting the alien insect carcasses and evolving toward elite grade. Lin Yuan believed that Red Thorn would soon evolve to elite grade and even bronze grade with a massive amount of resources. By then, Lin Yuan's combat strength would increase significantly. Lin Yuan was in a hurry to increase his strength as he wanted to climb the star tower in the star web. Lin Yuan had already brought Chimey and Genius into the star web, and now they were heading for the star tower.